Hey. 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 Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Guess what? Guess what? We should go check that sub count. Let me check it out. Hold on one second. What does that say? What's that say? Look at that. Look at that. Hey. Round of applause. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourself a round of applause. Just kidding. Give me a dang round of applause. Let's go. It's Monday night. Kicking the week off right. Dreadedconservative show. Y'all are kicking the week off. My week is over. It's the weekend. Hallelujah. The weekend is here. We got a little show planned. We've been talking about Trump and his trial. This week we're going to talk about Biden. Y'all might be tired of Trump and Biden. But guess what? It's election year. So that's what we're going to talk about. If you don't like it, then go somewhere lame. Biden had a fundraiser. He had to be held up by Barack Obama, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, a bunch of other whack has-beens that haven't made movies in 1,000 years. Helped him with his little fundraiser. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Hunter, guilty. We talked about it earlier in the week, but it's the Monday show. So we'll talk about Hunter, guilty, while his dad is running for president. Meanwhile, Trump's guilty while he's running for president. Everybody's criminal. Let's go. Shout out to the felons. If you're not a felon, what are you doing with your life, man? What else? The Juneteenth celebration at the White House. We got Juneteenth news. It's the 17th. Juneteenth is in 2 days. We're not going to have a Monday night show on Juneteenth, so we'll talk about it today. Juneteenth, the greatest holiday in American history. And every year on Juneteenth, we get to see the violence all over the country. All the mass shootings, all the violence, all the party goers, all the young people. You know, turning the Glock sideways like O-Dog, spraying up the block, you know, pulling up on the op. Juneteenth. Detroit started their Juneteenth early. The White House started its Juneteenth early. I think there was some Juneteenth celebrations in New York, but that happens every weekend. Chicago, that happens every weekend. There was a big Juneteenth celebration in Detroit at the Splashpad, so we'll talk about that. And that's it for the main story news. We got memes, we got reels, we got rapid fire, we got all that, and then we're Bible thumping this week, baby. We're Bible thumping this week. I dove deep on this one. I dove deeper on Hosea than I have on a lot of these stories in the past. A lot of these stories are a couple pages. This one, I went deep on this one. But we're not going to read the whole book, because we'll be here all night. We got to start the after party. We will have the open panel after party. Let's get into the show. Where's my nukes? Drop the fake nukes. Was that quiet? That was probably pretty quiet, huh? One more time. Drop the fake nukes. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We just hit 5,000 subscribers. And yeah, we drop fake nukes around here. Because if you didn't know, nukes are fake. Let's just be honest, okay? It's a fear-mongering tactic. The same people who believe the nukes are real are probably the people who wore masks during COVID, okay? Let's be honest. Let's just be honest, all right? You think hiding under your desk in the classroom is going to save you from a nuke? Maybe if you paint it blue, it'll save you from the lasers and the nukes and the tornadoes and the hurricanes and global warming and COVID. Just get a school desk and hide under it, and you'll be safe. That's all you got to do, okay? You'll survive the fake nukes with a school desk. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. We've already done a show about fake nukes. Let's talk about Joe Biden. The greatest perturbator in America. You know the thing. Yeah. From HuffPo, Biden to head fundraiser. So this is earlier in the week before it happened. It already happened. Spoiler alert. Biden to head fundraiser with Obama, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, and more stars. More stars. I used to like George Clooney. I guess now I'm never watching a George Clooney movie again. Just kidding, because I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot who just because they support somebody I don't like politically, I'd like don't look at their art anymore. Yeah, I'm talking to you Eminem haters. You think I'm never going to watch a Robert De Niro movie again? Come on. Come on, guys. Now, if he makes a new movie, I might not go see it. I'm not going to buy a ticket to it, but I will bootleg it. Clooney's appearance will come weeks after he reportedly phoned up the White House in regard to comments Biden made about Amal Clooney's work. I don't know who that is. The heck is an Amal Clooney? President Joe Biden's Air Force One touchdown in Los Angeles, California on Saturday morning ahead of a star-studded evening fundraiser. And the anticipated proceeds have already reportedly broken the Democratic Party's one-night record. They raised $28 million in one night because of this fundraiser. You know whose record they didn't break? You know whose one-night record they didn't break with their 28? Robert De Niro, these shoes. You know whose record they didn't break with that $28 million that they raised at that fundraiser? The Don. The Don. You didn't raise as much money as I raised. Yep, you had your little fundraiser with your little George Clooney, the Clooney guy. Oh, what does he do? Ocean's 11? Maybe some other movies. What else was he in? I don't know. I don't even watch movies. Too busy banging Melania. Sorry, George. Julia Roberts? What has Julia Roberts done? Absolutely nothing. What, Bird Box? There's not even a bird in a box. I watched the whole movie, didn't see one bird in one box. I just saw a blind woman hiding from monsters. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what time it is? That's right, baby. Former President Barack Obama. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Where was I? Actors George Clooney and Julia Roberts and comedian Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, real funny guy, that Jimmy. Great comedian. Great comedian. Till he started hating on the Don. Now, not so good. Wow. Used to be a great comedian. Used to be one of the best. Now he's kind of fell off. To be honest, let's be honest. Of all the night shows, I'd probably rather watch this guy on YouTube named The Dreadedconservative. Much better show, much better. Wow. Great show. Jimmy Kimmel show, not so much. Okay. Saturday's glitzy Hollywood fundraiser has already netted the Biden campaign a record $28 million. The sum tops the $26 million campaign raised at the March event featuring late-night host Stephen Colbert. Not great either. TV really fell off. Wow. Josh now has to run a 5K live stream to celebrate his 5K subs. We'll do that after this stream. We'll do that right after this. Right after messages from our sponsor, which is viewers like you. We'll do a panel afterward. We'll do an all-night after party panel as usual. But I think tomorrow will be like the real 5K celebration stream. I don't got nothing to give away. I'm broker than a joke. I don't got nothing to give to you people except for my time and attention. But maybe I get some pizza tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I like some pizza. I like some pizza. I think I'm going to wait till Floor gets here to cut my hair so she can, well, she's not going to cut it. She wants to cut it. I might let her like cut one dread off. She ain't cut the whole thing. I don't let women cut my hair. That's crazy. What was I about to say? Oh, so we can go to the barbershop and she can hold the phone. I need to get a little tripod. She can hold the phone on the little tripod at the barbershop when I get it cut. Cut. Plus, I gotta recreate this image. I need to send it to the computer. Here, let me pull it up and I'll show you. I gotta recreate this image. If you guys have ever seen this, I'm gonna recreate this image. I don't take pictures with my shirt off to impress the ladies. You know, it's not really what I'm about. The only time you're gonna see me in a picture with my shirt off is if I'm at the beach. You know, but I am gonna do it this one time because I'm gonna recreate this image right. Shaw, can you see this? Y'all can't see the screen. Hold up. I'm gonna recreate this image right. Shaw of Busta Rhymes when he cut his dreads. I'm gonna recreate that image. It's gonna be pretty gay, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Where's my little cash grift box thing? There it is. Cashapp, Dreadedconservative. Hit it up. I do, Josh. I take lots of pics with my shirt off. Wow. Wow. Brutus and Barbara Beefcake. That's a tongue twister. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. A cutting and a strutting. What does that even mean? Josh, I think you should shave your head now. I'm not sure if I'm ready to see bald. I can't wait until you're 60. I'm not gonna be bald. Crazy, eh? What you talking about? What you talking about? I'm not gonna be bald. I'm just gonna have thinning hair up front, and it's all right. I'm gonna get some of that minoxidil. I was worried because I heard that minoxidil makes your brain go slower. You know, so I was gonna get some of that keeps or some of that Hims just for the front up here because I'm not going bald. It's just tension from pulling the hair back and having the dreads, so it's thin up front. So I was gonna get some of that, use it just for like one cycle. But I heard that it slows your brain down. Well, I Googled it last night. Turns out new studies show that minoxidil actually improves blood flow in your brain and helps your thinking. I don't know what to believe. I don't believe doctors anyway, but it's either going to make me really stupid or it's going to make me like a super genius. One or the other. We'll find out. All right, I'm going to keep going on these stories. Former President Donald Trump's campaign says it has raked in even larger amounts, most notably claiming a record of $50 million haul from a gathering of wealthy donors in Florida back in April. Not to mention the $300 million that he raised in like one day after you guys decided to convict him with 34 felonies. Good move, Democrats. Good job. No, you're not putting onions in. What the hell's wrong with this girl? Back in April, Trump's campaign fundraised bump after his New York felony conviction last month, leading to what the campaign said was a total of 141 million. I said 300. I was wrong. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. But they always like to mess with my numbers. It's probably much greater, much bigly, much more bigly. He's gonna smell like onions. Yeah, she's crazy. What the hell's wrong with this girl? Dude, just get some test? Shut up. Shut up. I got more testosterone than I know what to do with. If I take more testosterone, I'd probably be breaking down walls with my bare hands. Okay, enough from Huffington Post. I'm sick of Huffington Post. Let's see what what's it called? Hollywood Reporter has to say. Do I have any clips from this thing? President Biden and Barack Obama ripped Donald Trump during starry LA fundraiser. From the Hollywood Reporter. Los Angeles Democrats and Hollywood stars like George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Barbara Streisand came out in full force on Saturday night for a record-setting fundraiser for Biden's re-election campaign. Yeah, Trump will just do it himself. Like he'll have like George Arpaio or Joe Arpaio come out on stage, and that's about it. Joe's got to sit on stage with Obama the whole time, holding his hand, giving him sweet little tender kisses and butterfly kisses, and coaching him through the conversation because he can't do it himself. White House residents and Hollywood megastars shared the stage inside Los Angeles Peacock Theater on Saturday night for what turned out to be a record-setting Democrat fundraiser haul as Biden's re-election campaign netted more than 30 million. Oh, you Hollywood reporters boosting the numbers from the one-night-only event. But even with all that cash and the glamour of A-list headliners, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Jimmy Kimmel, who moderated a 40-minute chat with Biden and former President Barack Obama, the shadow of Biden's Republican opponent, Donald Trump, loomed large. Oh, I bet it did. During the conversation, the trio took turns ripping Trump's questionable track record, his history of lying to the American people. Oh, yeah. Joe Biden just said that he was a professor, a constitutional professor, whatever, lying to the American people, a freshly stamped criminal record with 34 felonies. Let's go, felons. And a recent threat of bloodshed and retribution should he come out victorious in the November election. I could have done nothing and done better than him. I could have done nothing and done better than him. Biden said at the top of the conversation, during which much attention was paid to the incumbents' victories in passing legislation, boosting the economy, creating jobs, and erasing student loan debt for millions. Wow. Wow. We're trying to give ordinary people a chance, just a chance. Not a chance to buy some damn groceries. Not a chance to buy a full tank of gas and some groceries with a paycheck. Joey. Obama was the one who took aim at Trump's felony convictions. Look, part of what happened in the last several years is we normalized behavior that used to be disqualified. He said the other spectacle of the nominee of two major parties is sitting in the court and being convicted by a jury of peers on 34 counts. I'm not a great Obama guy. I can't do Democrat impressions. Okay? Okay? They don't have enough character. I can't do it. Let's just watch a clip.
President Biden arrived in Los Angeles this morning for a celebrity fundraiser.
Get that man off that staircase. What are you doing? Get that man off of that staircase. Are you crazy? Do you know this guy's track record with stairs? You can't be letting that man walk down a staircase? Hold on. The only thing worse than Joe Biden going up a staircase where he'll fall 6 times on the way up is going down a staircase, because then he only falls once and it's over. Get that man off that staircase. Somebody needs to hold his hand. Call Obama out here. Do not let that man walk down a flight of stairs unattended.
It's going to be headlined by George.
Unless there's a ball pit. Unless it's into like a ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese's. Get that man off that staircase.
Clooney and Julia Roberts. He was met with protesters before his arrival.
NBC4's Macy Jenkins joins us live now from downtown LA, where that fundraiser is being held. Macy.
To source, this is NBC News, as you see the little peacock, which is interesting because it's at the Peacock Center. And NBC's there with the peacock.
Kathy and Jonathan, not one but two presidents, current President Joe Biden and former President Barack Obama.
The only people that don't change their logo to a rainbow for Pride Month, the only people that don't get gay for Pride Month is NBC. Don't let them virtue signal to you. They've always been gay.
Obama will be here for a campaign fundraiser outside of LA Live, actually in the Peacock Theater. But something that developed within the last 30 minutes, we saw pro-Palestinian protesters starting to gather on the other side of the barricade here, right next to, on the corner of Fig and 11th Street near Crypto.com Arena.
Floor, you're not putting onions in my shampoo. Shut up. What are you talking about? Crazy?
We saw about 24 officers, armed law enforcement officers, getting into formation and going on the other side of the barricade. Everything is peaceful right now, but they are marching down the street. Let's get to why we are here. That is the fundraising event. Take a look at this. President Biden arrived early this morning at LAX after returning from a visit at the G7 summit in Italy on Friday. Tonight's fundraiser is expected to bring in more than...
This chick is not fast enough to catch him. If he falls... He's a goner. He's not gonna make another one. He's not gonna make it. It's gonna be like Mr. Glass. It's gonna be like Samuel L. Jackson in freaking Unbreakable when he falls down the stairs. He's gonna break 97 bones.
$28 million from thousands of supporters, money crucial to Biden's re-election campaign against former President Donald Trump. Still the frontrunner after being convicted of multiple felony counts.
What up, Spike?
Biden will sit down tonight for a conversation with late-night host Jimmy Kimmel amidst a theater full of celebrity guests. And like you said, Kathy,
still enthusiasm with the base for tonight.
I thought I had a clip from. I don't care about this. I don't want to hear your news reporting. I'm a better dang news reporter than that lady. She kind of cute, though. What up, girl? She black. Anyway, happy Juneteenth, girl. No, I'm just joking. She's not that cute. Do I have clips from the event? No. Clooney and Roberts helped Biden raise $30 million plus at a star-studded Hollywood gala. Obama was the one. Did I read this already? Look, part of what happened last several years, we normalized behavior that used to be disqualified, he said. The other spectacle of the nominee is one of two major parties sitting in the court and being convicted of a jury of his peers on 34 counts. You have his charitable foundation that's not allowed to operate because it was engaged in monkey business. Obama said monkey business? I guess if you're black, you're allowed to say monkey business. I thought that was racist and not actually philanthropic. Oh, yeah. Like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is super philanthropic. When you make a charitable foundation named after yourself so you don't have to pay taxes and so that you can kill Africans with Vaseline. You just vass them up and you ram it in there. You jab it in there and it's too tight, so you got to jab it all the way in there with Vaseline. I'm on one tonight, y'all. Let me find a I thought I had a clip. I thought I had a video from the event. Let me see. Biden, Obama, and Jimmy. Biden, Obama, and Jimmy. Sounds like the Three Stooges. Biden appears to freeze up as he is led off stage. Oh no. Again, I have another clip of, but I didn't see this one yet. Let's watch this. Let's watch Biden glitch. Let's watch Biden glitch out real quick. Hold on. He glitched out at the fundraiser. Let's see it. Hold on. I got it for you. Hold on. I just X'd out of it. Crap. Hold on. Just give me 2 seconds. Oh, Timcast is talking about it right now. Why did I just shout out my competition? Don't go watch Timcast. Timcast be cosplaying as a black penis every day. What am I talking about? What the hell is wrong with me? Oh, this music's probably copyright, but I don't care. Everything I do gets demonetized anyway. All right. I haven't seen this yet. Reaction time. Let me move my camera back to where it was. So we want to be able to see Obama's pretty face in here. Remember the like button. That's right. Did you see Biden standing there like a wax figure? No, I haven't seen this yet. We're about to watch it right now, mayhem. Right now. Is you high? No. I haven't smoked weed in like 3 months. I smoked like one bowl like a month ago. Somebody at work gave it to me. The snakes in the grass. I told y'all, whenever you quit something, that's when everybody gives it to you for free. If you on drugs and you trying to get off drugs, ain't nobody want to see you prevail. So then all of a sudden, the people who would never give you nothing for free, all of a sudden, they're just like throwing it at you. Here, take some drugs. Here, have some drugs. No, I'm not high. I haven't even had a beer or a drink or anything. I just got coffee and life and 5,000 subscribers. How about that? Let's watch this video. Hold his hand. I told you. I was joking earlier. I forgot to take my Ritalin. Or maybe I did take some Ritalin. Maybe that's what it is. No, I think Ritalin would probably chill me out. I probably am ADHD, but I don't believe that's a real thing, so I'm not. But if psychology was real and mental health was really a thing, then then I probably would have like all of the above. I'm a schizophrenic, sociopathic, ADHD, narcissist, all of it. All of it. Just give me a cake of drugs. Okay. I was joking when I said Obama's going to have to hold his hand. And I hit the nail on the head. Bro. Hold on, look. Watch Obama grab his hand. Come on, Joe. Joe, we need to go. This is the outro music. We're supposed to be walking away now, Joe. Bro. He's pulling a McConnell. Oh, he like popped up. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be walking now? Joe, you're not going to be able to bring Obama with you to the debate, my boy. What happens if you freeze up in the middle of the debate with Trump? I'm sure CNN will edit that part out. You know how clipped up that's going to be? When we watch it, we're going to live stream it. We're going to live stream the reaction to the debate. It's on June 27th. Mark your calendars. 10 days away. 10 days away. I'm excited. I don't know why I'm excited. Because I think it's going to be hilarious. We're going to live fact check it. We're going to live laugh at Joe getting destroyed. And we're going to live try to see how many cuts there are. Because I guarantee you there's cuts. Or how many times the mic gets cut. I hope they're sitting close enough that you can, sometimes when like people are talking and they cut somebody's mic, you can still hear them talking through the other person's mic. I hope that happens. I hope Trump just keeps going. And you hear him through Biden's mic louder than you hear Joe Biden mumbling. It's going to be so funny. But I bet you it's going to be edited like a mug. Fake Tapper. Moderating a debate between me and a zombie. Wow. Going to be the worst, best debate you've ever seen. As the men stood for applause, Biden's gaze seemed to become fixed on the crowd. No, he wasn't fixed on the crowd. He was staring at the dang sky. His eyes glossed over. He was just looking at nothingness. He zoned out. You know when you zone out and your vision blurs and you're out of focus, you're not really looking at anything. And then if somebody comes and talks to you, you're not even looking at them. You're just Joe Biden lives in that plane of existence. At least Obama wasn't rough with him. Well, that happened in the back. It took him out back. All right, we saw it. We saw it. We saw it. We saw it. Okay. Well, that wasn't Biden's only freeze up this week. But before we get to that, let's go. So meanwhile, outside of the event, there was an anti-Israel protest. I don't think New York Post is going to let me read this because they're J words with their. Oh, they will. They're just going to give me 10,000 ads. New York Post anti-Israel protests outside of the event surrounding Biden's LA campaign fundraiser featuring Obama, George Clooney, and Julia Roberts. Wow. Hundreds of anti-Israel protesters descended on President Biden's star-studded Los Angeles campaign fundraiser on Saturday night, where he's expected to haul in a record-setting $28 million. The demonstrators attempted to block the entrance and disrupt the ritzy event at the Peacock Theater in downtown LA. Protesters waved Palestinian flags and chanted, "From the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever." I thought it. Why did they change the chant? That's so much. See, they're not even good at. Sometimes they're good at writing like catchy little jingles. Speaking of jingle, never mind. Maybe we'll talk about that. I heard like the best jingle in a long time. Like this jingle on YouTube on one of the ads is on par with like call JG Whitworth 877 cash now. It's like on par with that, but I can't remember how it goes right now. But they changed their slogan from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Now it's from the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever. You guys aren't Eminem. You can't rhyme river with forever. Only Eminem can do that. He can rhyme orange with banana. Orange Nana. Bibby sus now? How you doing, slave bikini? What does that mean? What is slave bikini? Josh, Josh, I just sent you a video of Biden a couple days ago. It's so funny. I swear, Floor, if you sent me the video that I'm about to play that I watched last night while you were in chat, and I said, don't watch the video before we talk about it, unless you watched my short this morning. If that's the video you sent me, I'm going to be irate. Okay? Video posted on social media shows several of the protesters donned shirts that read, "Ceasefire now and not in our name." I mean, you think they didn't expect this? I'm sure they funded it. You think the Democrats didn't expect this? I'm sure they paid for it. You know? I think it is the same video, Josh. What do you do? Come on now. Don't you watch my channel? Weren't you in the chat last night? Didn't you see the short that I made this morning? Let's pay attention. It's free. Okay? I know you ain't sending me no money, woman. Anti-Israel. You better be saving up for that trip out here because I ain't spending a dime. I'll pay for one date. We're going to that Brazilian cafe. And that's really just because I want to go check out that restaurant. Honestly. Okay. The crowd reportedly swelled as guests filled in for the fundraiser, which featured President Barack Obama, Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Jason Bateman, Jack Black. Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. Catherine Hahn. I don't know who that is. Cheryl Lee Ralph. Don't know who that is. And more. Dozens of police in riot gear formed a line to keep the protesters away from the theater. LAPD confirmed to the Post that no arrests were made. Biden is expected to raise a whopping $28 million for the big night as he stocks his coffers. That sounds so morbid. Stocking your coffers. Why does that like remind me of a coffin? Can't take it with you. Spend it while you're here because you can't take it with you unless you got kids. Then leave it for your kids. For the home stretch before November election, tickets for the big night were sold from $250,000 to $500,000. Bro, if you paid $500,000 to see Joe Biden live in concert, you're a moron. You need all of your money seized and given to me. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So all that happened. All that was happening. Meanwhile, we already did one meanwhile. Got to do two more meanwhiles. So there's three meanwhiles. Meanwhile, we'll do that one next because yeah, we'll just skip to this. Meanwhile, Trump was in Detroit. Shout out Detroit, where Shady's from. Um, Unfortunately, we got some other news about Detroit starting their Juneteenth celebrations early this year. Not really a happy story if you're picking up what I'm putting down. But Trump was in Detroit visiting the hood. Trump went to the hood in Detroit. Detroit pastor thanks Trump for visiting the hood. This is from Fox. As Biden, Obama, who never came, attend LA fundraiser. So while Biden and Obama are in LA, Trump is visiting the hood in Detroit, visiting black pastors to bolster his black vote, which is up by, I forget the numbers. I'm not a number guy, but his numbers are way up in the black vote. And I heard a debate. It was Dave Smith, Destiny, and the heck's that other guy, Benny Johnson, on Pierce Morgan. And Benny mentioned that Trump's popularity has skyrocketed in the black community and in like the Arab community or something like that. And Destiny was like, so what? Trump's never won the popular vote. When he beat Hillary, he didn't even win the popular vote. That's not a good argument, Destiny. That means that when Trump was less popular, he still won. Now he's more popular. So you think that makes him less likely to win in a fair election? No, dumbass. If he had less popularity in those voting groups and he won still, now he has more popularity in those voting groups. That's not going to hurt him. That's going to help him, dummy. Now, to be fair, I still wouldn't put money on Trump winning because I don't trust any of it. But President Biden was scheduled to appear at a glitzy fundraiser in Los Angeles alongside blah, blah, blah. We already know that. Former President Donald Trump attended a roundtable discussion at a church in Detroit on Saturday afternoon in an effort to reach out to black voters. That was the night after. So if anybody says the reason that they did the whole Splashpad Juneteenth celebration that we're about to talk about because of Trump, you're wrong. He was there at night. It happened in the morning, I think. I could be wrong about that. We'll find out in a second. During the discussion, 180 church pastor Lorenzo Sewell told Trump that he was humbled by the former president's visit. Look at this picture. Look at these based black pastors. I'm sure they got Cadillacs with rims on them. I'm sure they got Cadillacs. You know, like Chamillionaire said in the song Rain with Scarface. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's a great song. It's old. It's on the Sound of Revenge album. But he said, pastor telling me pay my tithes and then yelling back for what? So the pastor could ride faster, get some rims on his truck. I don't think that they'll miss 10% of negative bucks. How are you supposed to tithe when you got negative money? How am I going to tithe 10% of negative? Great bars. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right? President Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood. So thank you, Sewell said, eliciting applause from the audience. Bro, if you don't vote for Trump, then you ain't black. Honestly. Hey, thank you, William Gramer Jr. Later Saturday, Trump appeared at the People's Convention of TPUSA. Fox News Digital has reached out to the Biden campaign for a response to Sewell's remarks. Sewell told Fox and Friends on Friday that he couldn't remember the last time a president laid out a plan for the black community until Trump created the Platinum Plan. That was the one he did with Ice Cube, right? Which included approximately $500 billion for black businesses and churches. Is Jalen here? Jalen needs to hear this. Jalen says Trump is racist and Biden is amazing. Trump gave more money to HBCUs than any president. Trump did the First Step Act, which released a lot of the. They always complain that black men get locked up for pot, even though that's not true. Unless it's like Kamala Harris's district. But otherwise, that was not true. Trump did the First Step Act, got a lot of them released. I don't really agree with that, but he did it. He did the HBCUs. He appointed more black people and gay people to cabinets and power positions. First ever pro-gay president, gay marriage president when he came into office. Again, not my favorite quality, but for all the idiots that say he's racist and homophobic, pay attention. Maybe watch last night's stream of the Biden video of all the racist things Biden has said in the past. Sewell told Fox and Friends first on Friday that he couldn't remember. Oh, I already read that. Those metrics matter to us, so we're going to hold him accountable to the platinum plan that he produced. Biden was in Detroit last month where he spoke to the NAAC's 69th Fight for Freedom Fund dinner. Fight for Freedom Fund dinner. I would have called it the Fight for Freedom Fund Feast. Fight for Freedom Fund Feast. Because then it would have been more, black people do that, you know? Remember Johnny Cochran at the OJ trial? Where he was, what's that called? That's not alliteration where you like start every word with the same letter and it makes it sound catchy. They're really good at that. Very entertaining people. That's twice. Don't say it's the third. Say his name 3 times and Jalen will show up. That's twice. Oh, I just said it. Is that 3? Oh, God. No. Trump's appearance comes as Biden is set to attend a glitzy fundraiser. The Biden campaign said Saturday night the event is expected to raise at least $28 million. Okay. So Trump's in the hood. Biden has a fundraiser. Lackluster. People protesting outside. Meanwhile, earlier in the week, old Joe's son has been convicted of all 3 felonies in his federal gun trial. People are saying this is not a good thing. I remember when we first talked about this, Stubborn One said it might actually be great because if Hunter doesn't get convicted, then maybe it will lead to them not having that question about drugs on the gun application, which I don't think there should be a federal gun application. There should be a background check, but to ask, have you ever used drugs, or have you ever, or are you currently using illegal drugs? Like, that's not part of owning a gun. But I do think there should be some serious mental health checks and stuff like that. After watching the documentary about the Virginia Tech shooter and seeing some of these mass shooters and stuff, a lot of those people should have never been sold a gun. There's no way they should have been able to buy a gun. I'm okay with demonic, atheist, weird people not having guns. I'm okay with that. I'm not a gun nut. Maybe it's because I'm a felon, so I can't own guns. So I'm not a gun nut. It's never been like a big part of my life that I need to carry a gun. If I had the right, then I would do it, and then maybe I'd feel more passionate about it. But the way I see it, we should take the guns from some of these crazy bastards. I don't want Antifa with AR-15s defending child drag story hour. Nope, not my America. My Constitution is for a moral and religious people. My Constitution is not for a bunch of demon worshiping crazy folks. And foreigners. Not my America. But I guess that's the DIE, the DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity America that we live in today. And people defend it. Crazy. Hunter Biden was convicted Tuesday of all 3 felony charges. But anyway, what I was saying is now that he has been convicted, they're saying that since Hunter was convicted, Joe could just pardon him, so he's not going to get in trouble for this, really. Plus, he's the president's son. He's not going to see jail time. He's going to be fine. And he'll still have guns, and he'll still have crack, and he'll still have underage Asian prostitutes. He'll be fine. He'll still have a baby mama with a daughter who he's never met before. She kind of cute, though. I still haven't made that short. But since he's been convicted, they can now use this to go after everybody. And they'll use this as a way to take guns from a lot of people. So, could be bad. Could be bad. Related to the purchase of a revolver in 2018, prosecutors argued the president's son lied on a mandatory gun purchase form by saying he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs. Hunter Biden, 54 years old, stared straight ahead and showed little emotion as the verdict was read after jury deliberations that lasted only 3 hours over 2 days in Wilmington, Delaware. He hugged his attorney, smiled wanly, and kissed his wife, Melissa, before leaving the courtroom with her. President Joe Biden said in a statement issued shortly after the verdict that he would accept the outcome and continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. Now Hunter Biden and presumptive Republican candidate presidential nominee Donald Trump, the president's chief political rival, have both been convicted by American jurors in an election year that has been as much about the courtroom as about campaign events and rallies. Faces up to 25 years in prison. That's not going to happen. When he is sentenced by U.S. Judge Marilyn Noreika. Though, as a first-time offender, he would not get anywhere near the maximum, and there's no guarantee that the judge would send him to prison. Right, well, it's Trump's first-time offending, and all the liberals think he's going to jail. Anyway, so, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's an election year, guys. Things are heating up. It's summertime. It's getting hot. You know, because of climate change, people are starting to shoot each other because it's hot outside. But before we move on to the Detroit Juneteenth celebration, we got to watch one more Biden video. This is so funny. This is so funny. All of it. All of it's funny. Not just Biden. Don't just keep your eye on Biden, because he doesn't really do much in this clip. This is from Forbes. But watch Kamala and watch this weird. Somebody in the comments on the short that I made said, "What's up? Why did that guy steal Michelle Obama's dress?" Big Mike. When a guy lets another guy borrow his dress, you know something's wrong in America. But let's watch this. This is so funny. Oh, it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds long of this dude standing here like a zombie. Come on! Hey! And now this is at a Juneteenth event, which doubles as another Pride celebration at the White House. And the guy singing, this is like a Christian song. This is like it's supposed to be a Christian song. It's one of those like Bethel and Hillsong type Christian songs where they take basically a Casey and JoJo song and they turn it into a Christian song by taking out woman or baby and replacing it with God and Jesus. You know, like, baby, I want to lay you down. I want to touch you, baby. Ooh, all night I want to touch you, girl. I want to make love to you. They'll change it to like, Jesus, I want to lay with you in the garden and touch your hand. Oh, God, I want to be with you all the time. That's how they make the Christian songs nowadays. He's rocking. He's rocking with him. Hey. 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 Do the Trump. Right here, Biden. It's right here. Just focus it in. You know, we're white. You can do the swimmer. Come on, Biden. I don't want to love nobody but you. I don't want to love nobody but you. Watch, Kamala figures it out. It took Kamala a little while, but she figured out the dance. Joe, not so much. Not so much, Joe. I don't want to love nobody but you. I don't want to love nobody but you. Lean the shoulder back. Lean back. Lean back. Pop lock and drop it. Robot. Joe Biden. That's one dance Joe Biden can do. Joe Biden was hitting the robot for a second there, but his brain kind of malfunctioned. The system is down. The system is down. I hear the AOL dial-up tone playing in his head right now. But Joe Biden could hit the robot. Oh, it froze up there. This is not me. This is the. This is Forbes. Everybody's having a seizure right now. Now this guy's saving him. Somebody's in the earpiece saying, "Hey, Biden is frozen up. Talk to him or do something. Get him to fist bump you. He's frozen. You gotta snap him back into it, Jerome." God, I'm so messed up. Okay, fist bump. For the camera. Now look, somebody's gonna talk in Biden's earpiece in a second when he freezes up again. Kamala's like, I gotta really put a show on right now to distract the audience from the fact that Joe looks like a freaking mannequin right now. Joe! Hey! Joe! Come on, Joe! You know, if Trump was there, he'd be moonwalking. Look, they're in his ear. They're in his ear. They're saying, Joe, the camera is like zoomed in on you right now. You need to do something. Just like kind of wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Joe, see, they're in his ear. Joe, either move your body a little bit or just pretend like something important's happening and come back to us, Joe. Oh my God, this is our president. You, I don't want to love nobody but you. 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 We got a man in a dress 2 feet away from the president. What the hell is wrong with this country?
Can I please do one more?
No.
First of all, are your feet hurting? Nobody told you to wear them cute shoes.
Joe can't feel his feet. Okay, that's enough of that crap. Oh, Lord. Looks like a wax museum figure. I know. Well, when you shit your pants, you want to move as little as possible. Oh, man. What is wrong with this country? We're going downhill fast. Right now, fake nuclear war with Russia. Let's go. I'm like ready for it. I'm about ready for Xi Jinping or Putin to pull up. Just take us over. Like, for real. Right about now. It's about that time. That's a good song, actually. I'm gonna Spotify it ASAP. It was kind of catchy. It had me dancing, you know. It didn't have Joe dancing. The whole time Joe's looking around like, why are all these black people at the White House? Why did they turn my White House into a racial jungle? That's his words, not my words. He said that. You know who said that? Joe Biden said that. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Enough politics. Let's get in some cultural news. Ooh, the numbers are higher than they were when I checked yesterday. The numbers are going up. Numbers are going up. Let's see if they mention the race of the suspect, or if they just say it was young party goers, youth. What are some of the other things they call? Anyway, Detroit. Detroit. Oh, it did happen at 11 p.m. on Saturday, so it was after Trump was there. I stand corrected. I haven't read about this story yet. I was saving it for today, so you get my live reactions. Who read Hosea? I did. I went deep on this one, C-Sal. I listened to Hosea twice last night. I watched like 4 short videos and like 2 really long videos breaking it down. I wrote like 4 pages of notes. I went through the whole book and I picked a bunch of excerpts. We're only going to read 1 through 3 because that's the story of Hosea and Gomer. But then I'll talk about all the rest of the chapters. But yeah, it's pretty deep. It's deep. All right, Detroit from ABC News. 2 killed, 14 injured in shooting at Juneteenth celebration. Oh wait, this is a different story, bro. Why do they do this to me? Sometimes I'll save a story, and then when I pull up my folder of all my saved articles, it'll be a different story. But this is actually good because this adds to the theme of this segment, which is basically Juneteenth violence. Every year this happens at all of the Juneteenth, not all of them, but at a lot of the Juneteenth celebrations. Well, even I have a video on my channel of when I went to a Juneteenth block party here in Salt Lake City, which is the whitest, most freaking white boy Christian state in America, probably, if you count Mormons as Christians. But we had a Juneteenth block party, and they were yelling stuff like this speaker lady, she was saying boys shouldn't be boys. This expression, raise boys to be boys, or boys will be boys. Boys to men. This is toxic masculinity. We shouldn't be raising these boys to be boys. Boys turn to men, and men are violent. The evil white violent man. Raise your boy. No, she didn't say raise your boys to be girls, but essentially that's what they were getting at. The Pride Month rainbow flag community and the Juneteenth BLM community are one and the same. And the pro-Palestine community, one and the same. The climate change freaks that block the highways and tape themselves to fire hydrants, one and the same. They're all the same people. But every year, Juneteenth, lots of violence. So before we get to Detroit, I guess we'll talk about Texas. There's also one in New York. I didn't save the New York article because that's like a regular thing out there. But so first we'll look at Texas. 2 killed, 14 injured at Juneteenth celebration in Texas. Police search for suspect. 14 people were taken to hospitals with gunshot wounds. Police in Round Rock, Texas are asking the public to help find the suspect in a shooting at a Juneteenth celebration that left 2 dead and 14 others injured. The incident unfolded when a fight broke out between two groups in Old Settlers Park. 2 groups in Old Settlers Parks. Oh, you mean two gangs, two rival gangs. Is that what you meant to say, ABC? Two rival gangs at the Juneteenth celebration. Is that what you meant to say? At 11 p.m. Saturday, Round Rock Police Chief Alan Banks said at about the same time someone took out a gun and began to fire. Two people killed were identified by police on Monday as 33-year-old Lindsay Vicknair and 54-year-old Era Duke. Lindsay Vicknair sounds white. That's an assumption. I don't know that, but probably a liberal white chick that was had some jungle fever, so she went out to the Juneteenth celebration to show her what's the word I'm looking for? I always forget this word. Solidarity. She was trying to show her solidarity to the black community, black power, and she got shot. Assuming she's white. I don't know that she's white. Neither Vicknair nor Duke was involved in the altercation, police said. Yeah, because they don't know how to aim. They hold the gun sideways like O-Dog and they just start blasting. They let the yopper sing. They just let the yopper sing. P for pony. Pride, meaning they're riding the P for pony. What are you talking about, Rome? Anyone with information on the whereabouts of the suspect or who witnessed the incident is asked to contact Round Rock Police Department. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives has put up a $5,000 reward. So that's Texas. Meanwhile, so that was 11 p.m. Saturday night in Texas. Meanwhile, in Detroit, from the Detroit News, Rochester Hills Splashpad shooter found dead. I think that's a new update. I don't think that was out yesterday. I think they were still looking for him. Wounded victims include 2 boys. Rochester Hills, 9 people were shot at a splash pad in Rochester Hill. A splash pad is like, I don't know if you don't have kids, you're like, what's a splash pad? No, it's not a gay thing. It's like a water. It's like a mini water park. It's like where a park will have the things where it shoots up the water and the kids run around and play in it. So basically, a children's play area. They let the yopper sing at the playground, basically. Saturday, after a gunman got out of a vehicle and unloaded 28 gunshots from a handgun in a random act at the Streetside Park, Oakland. It's not a random act. It's called a hate crime. If you want to call everything else a hate crime. Ooh, it was a white male suspect. Ooh, we do have a hate crime. Wow. Wow, I stand corrected. P.S. If you're new here, I don't believe in hate crimes. I think all crimes are done out of hate. I just use that word because the liberals like to use it. But holy cow, we got a white male suspect. Sheriff's deputy later found the 42-year-old white male suspect dead Saturday night at a home in Shelby Township after the police breached the home with a drone. What? They're using drones to breach houses now? That's crazy. That's crazy. You know how people, when they say, try to take my gun over my dead body, you're taking my guns. Like you're going to fight the SWAT team when they roll in to take the guns. Well, what are you going to do when it's like 3 drones busting in your door? You're going to battle the guns? I hope your aim is on point. Sheriff's deputy later found the 42. I already read that. The alleged shooter might have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. As police were surrounding the home, the sheriff said officers on site did not hear the gunshot. Now, we know, I have to be careful how I say this. We know a lot of these things aren't always accurately reported on. So I'm still going to reserve a little bit of suspicion that this was the actual suspect. I guess I'm allowed to talk about the suspect, right? Am I allowed to say? I don't know. But let's assume that it was the white male suspect. Isn't it interesting? Don't we show this all the time for all the shootings? The race. Is the race ever mentioned when it's Juan Carlos Gomez or when it's Jerome Johnson, do they ever mention the suspect's race or even their name? Sometimes I have to like dig deep to find the suspect's name. It's very interesting, and they're not mentioning his name in this, so at least they're consistent on that. But isn't it interesting? White male suspect. Do you think that they would say that if it wasn't a white male suspect? Isn't that interesting? The alleged shooter might have died from self-inflicted gunshot wound, or he died from the drone that busted in his house shooting. As police were surrounding the home, the sheriff said officers on site did not hear the gunshot. Okay. The shooter acknowledged police attempts to contact him, but officials did not establish full communication with the man, Bouchard said. The gunman drove up to the Brooklands Plaza Splashpad along Auburn Road in Rochester Hills, got out of a vehicle, opened fire with a 9mm Glock semi-automatic handgun, reloaded, fired, and then reloaded a second time, leaving 3 bullet magazines at the scene, the sheriff said. Police later recovered the magazine and the handgun, which was registered to the shooter, helping lead investigators to the suspect's home. Bouchard said at the Splashpad Park, shell casings were scattered across the sidewalk and marked with yellow evidence markers. Police also found at least 2 weapons inside the home where the shooter died, including a handgun and what appears to be an AR platform semi-automatic rifle. Why didn't he use that? If he had planned to do anything else, that wouldn't surprise me, because having that on the kitchen table is not an everyday activity, the sheriff said. There was probably something else, a second chapter potentially. Suspect had no prior contact with Oakland County Sheriff's Department, had no criminal history, and is believed to have lived with his mother, who was not home during This sounds like bullshit, to be honest. Investigators were processing the scene at the home of the suspected later shooting on Saturday. Earlier, Bouchard initially said there were up to 10 shooting victims with varying kinds of injuries. His office later revived the victim count to 9, which is what, when I grabbed these articles last night, it was at 9. Because the hospitals double counted one of the victims. Good job, hospitals. How do you do that? Was it like conjoined twin or something? One of the shooting victims is an 8-year-old boy who was shot in the head and is in critical condition. A relative of that boy, a 4-year-old boy, was shot in the thigh but is considered stable. So, you know, we wish the victims well. I don't wish anything bad on the victims. And this stuff is horrible. Whether there's accurate reporting or not, it's still a horrible thing. I just like to look at the inconsistencies in reporting of these people. 39-year-old woman sustained gunshot wounds to her abdomen and legs, also in critical condition. That's all from one family. The oldest victim was a 78-year-old man, he said, and another pair of victims are a husband and wife. Horrible scene with children among the victims. Earlier, when addressing reporters at 7:30 p.m. near the Rochester Hills Park, Bouchard said the shooting appeared. So this was like at the same time that Trump was at that church. Appeared very random, and there was no known connection to any of the victims, who were transported to 4 area hospitals. Some of the victims were transported to one of the hospitals 2 miles from the shooting scene. So let's see how CNN's reporting on it. So we got 2 local sources, and we got CNN as our mainstream source. We'll just watch this video. It's going to play an ad. Oh, it's not playing an ad. Thank you, CNN. It's the nicest
9
thing.
people were shot at a splash pad. Here's what the sheriff said just moments ago.
Walked up, or were they enjoying the splash pad? I mean, what do you know about the shooter?
So far, again, this is all super preliminary. It appears like the individual pulled up, exited a vehicle, approached the splash pad, opened fire, reloaded, opened fire, reloaded, left. So appears very random at this point. Appears random. No connectivity to the victims.
How far is the house?
Random at this point. I want to get to CNN's Camila Bernal, who's also been following the details.
Think of there is a reason. They do have a motivation to lie here, because for the last 2 years, every Juneteenth, shootings skyrocket. They'll blame it on climate change. They'll blame it on hot weather. Oh, it's hot. Climate change. People are going to do more shootings now. Racism. So they do have sort of an incentive to lie here and say that it was a white man. I'm not saying that it's a lie for sure. I'm just saying I'm skeptical. I'm just asking questions. Seems interesting. Detroit, Juneteenth. Now maybe it's some crazy white guy that's sick of whatever bullcrap's going on in our country, and he snapped and he lost his mind and went crazy, which we've seen that before. So, I could believe it. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's interesting the way they make sure to give us the shooter's race if he's a white man. Otherwise, we would have no description of the shooter at all.
For us here, what else do we know?
Hey, Omar, as you heard the sheriff there's very little information, but what he says is that this is believed to be random. At least 9 people were shot. The youngest of those victims is just 8 years old. So the sheriff did not give a condition or ages of all of the victims, but says they are obviously working through all of this. And you heard him there. This is someone who pulled up to this Splashpad, started shooting, reloaded, and continued shooting. The sheriff saying that he believes about 28 times is the number of times that this person shot towards the splash pad. So this is something that went on for quite...
No, it's Bible Thumper Monday. Hosea 2:8. We're going to read all of 1 through 3. Chapters 1 through 3.
Some time, at least, in terms of how long it took him to fire 28 shots. What the sheriff is also saying is that they believe they have this suspect contained in a home. He said that he was essentially on his way there now, and they believe that he was the person responsible.
Okay. Thank you, CNN. Now you're going to play the ad. Guess what? I'm not going to watch it. It's going to play in this top corner like that. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. Law enforcement recovered 11 guns from the home of the man. So that's a lot more than the last article said. But a clear motive continues to elude investigators days later. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard said in an update Monday. So far, we've not been able to uncover any written paper manifesto type things. Would you release it? Well, if it was a white guy that did it, I'm sure they would release the manifesto immediately. If it said something about racism, I'm sure. But yeah, but if you're a crazy LGBTQ girl who shoots up a Christian school and has a full manifesto about how much you hate Christians, and you're angry at mommy and daddy because they were too Christian for you, you won't release that manifesto for 3 years. Investigators have not yet confirmed if he legally owned all the weapons. The shooter pulled up to the splash pad, and again, they always focus on the ownership of the weapons and things like that. I'm sure somewhere in this article it's going to say, with the rise of shootings, it brings gun rights into consideration. The shooter pulled up to the splash pad, exited the vehicle, opened fire 20 feet away, reloading multiple times. Shooting took place during a particularly violent weekend in America. Oh, you mean Juneteenth weekend? With more than 14 mass shootings, including a shooting at a Juneteenth celebration in Texas that left 2 dead and more than 14 other injured, and a shooting at a car meetup in Massachusetts where several people were shot. A car meetup. The weekend incidents were among more than 200 mass shootings in the U.S. this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. The Gun Violence Archive, because guns are so violent. Guns just randomly violently attack people sometimes. The archive, like CNN, defines a mass shooting as one in which at least 4 people are shot. We've done a deep dive into that number. That number is constantly changing. I'm actually glad that they've bumped it up to 4, because at one time, a mass shooting counted as like 1.8 people. And now it's 4 people, which, at least 4 people are shot, excluding the shooter. Nash, the suspect in the Michigan shooting, was found dead with an apparent okay, they gave his name here. Apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound at the home he shared with his mother. After police tracked the weapon from the shooting to an address found half a mile from the crime scene, police have not been able to communicate more with the gunman's mother, who was out of state and has retained legal counsel. Nash didn't have any previous police contact, criminal record. They seized various electronics, including a phone, thumb drives, and computers. Victims, including 2 small children and their mother, were injured in the shooting and taken to the 4 local hospitals with varying kinds of injuries. Under no circumstances is it normal for ice cream cones and flip-flops to be strewn amongst blood and bullet casings. As of Monday afternoon, Richard said 2 victims remain in critical condition, but a 37-year-old woman and a 77-year-old man have been released from the hospital. 8-year-old boy suffered a gunshot to the head, critical condition. Young child had the head wound, has made amazing progress. Incident appears to be random, no connectivity to the victims. It is our understanding that apparently he was undergoing some mental health challenges. I mean, everybody's undergoing mental health challenges, if that's a real thing. The shooting comes as Michigan communities are still recovering from 2 mass shootings in the state in recent years. Gunman killed Michigan State University students, wounded 5 others, teenager killed, but we're not even comprehending how the event unfolded. Suspect found dead after police breached his home. Suspect's former bankruptcy attorney remembers him as soft-spoken. Community was still reeling from the Oxford shooting. Well, I'm skimming through this. Doesn't look like they're in this article, at least, they're not attacking the guns, blaming the guns. What the heck is that? One more article, and then we will be done with the main story news. We got to move on. Mass shooting in Rochester Hills, 2 children, 7 adults shot. See, this is 9. It's up to 10. Or no, it was 10, then 9, because they counted somebody twice, which is weird. Good job, hospitals. That's what happens when you have diversity hires in Detroit. A shooting happened just after 5 p.m. on Saturday, June 15th. Blah, 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 blah. Steps lead to the Splashpad. 28 shots. Family was among the injured. I'm just skimming through this. Oakland County Oakland County Sergeant arrived to the scene within minutes of the shooting. Department uses live 911, which allows deputies on the road to hear calls as they come in. 9mm handgun at the Splashpad. 42-year-old Shelby Township man killed himself hours after the shooting. Believed the shooter lived with his mother, who was not home at the time. Rifle was discovered. Just looking for inconsistencies. Police are still investigating why the man decided to open fire. No notes or manifestos. Mental health services from Oakland County Health Network will be available. Okay. Why suppress the responsible adult's name? So much for transparent government. Well, other articles are reporting on his name, at least his last name. There may be a reason for that they don't give the name. I don't have a problem with not giving the name. My only problem is when there's inconsistencies between when certain people do crimes, they won't say anything about the race. When other people do crimes, they're quick to tell you it was a white man and it was a hate crime. Anyway, enough of that depressing mess. Enough of that sad stuff. We wish them well. Prayers for the victims. Let's pray that climate change and racism don't cause any more mass shootings over the Juneteenth holiday week. We don't want to ruin Pride Month, right? All right. That's it for that. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. We're gonna make things a little more cheery now. We're gonna get a little more cheery. I don't have a whole lot this week, guys. I think there's only 20. Some weeks we have like 44, 50. This week we got 20. So, but y'all know what time it is. It's time for the memes. Let's go. This is from Matthew. So this, just so you know, just so you can get the meme, this is the Cleaver family. The Cleaver family from the show Leave It to Beaver. And this kid's name is Beaver Cleaver. And the woman's name is June. And the husband is saying, "That's not what I meant, June." And here we have a shaved beaver. That's not what I meant when I said shave your beaver. We don't mean this beaver. We didn't mean turn beaver into a dang skinhead. Dang. Dang. What happened to old beaver? That's not what he meant, June. Next. It's never too early to tell your children the story of Marvin Heemeyer. Hey. Marvin Heemeyer, that's Killdozer. Remember we talked about Killdozer? We did a Killdozer segment a while ago. Killdozer, Marvin Heemeyer. I know you libertarians love old Marvin. All right, next. My friend got a degree in Egyptology, but can't get a job. So he's paying more money to get a PhD so he can work teaching other people Egyptology. In his case, college is literally a pyramid scheme. That, my friends, is the perfect example of a pyramid scheme. Next! Big companies when June begins. Once again, I am once again gay.
Beta!
I am once again gay. Oh, Bernie. Next! What inspired you to change your corporation's logo to a rainbow flag? Money!
Beta!
Money, SpongeBob! I could probably do a Mr. Krabs impression if I practiced it. The money inspired it. That's what did it. Next! Honey, bring your boyfriend in here. They got him. They got Trump.
It's a man, baby.
That's not a man. That's a
beta.
Yes. Next. From Babylon B. Wenches of the Caribbean, only on Disney Plus. New all-female Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Just 2 hours of boats backing into rocks. Next. God says, so there's just one rule, and before he even finishes the sentence, Eve, no! Oh no, Eve did it. Eve, dang, poor Adam. He had to get with that. Dang. Next. Chicks in California laying in bed after a sweaty night of cess. I hope I didn't get him pregnant. Oh no!
It's a man, baby.
Beta!
Oh no. Next! Lizzie's dress was previously worn by Wrigley Field during a rain delay. Oh my god. Ow, ow, it's Les, ow. Next! No one knows what it's like to be the Batman. Next. If they weren't grooming kids, they wouldn't be so mad when we asked them to leave them alone. Yep, that sounds about right.
Beta!
Merry Christmas, Happy Schwanza, Happy Hanukkah.
Next. Thank you, Pelosi. I love you. It's amazing the crazy things right-wingers believe in, says the pregnant man-woman thing emoji. Dang.
It's a man, baby.
Next. Me calling JG Wentworth from jail because it's the only number I actually know. Call JG Wentworth. 877 cash now. Next. What are you looking for in a woman? XX chromosomes? Hey.
It's a man, baby.
That sounds about right. XX chromosomes is what I'm looking for in a woman. A vagina. My neck, the skin on my neck looks sort of like a vagina. Next. Mom, I'm beginning to think he was right about everything. Of course he was, honey, but he gave people mean nicknames on Twitter, so your father and I chose to vote for complete economic and societal collapse instead. Yep. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Beta!
Next. When you got to change a tire but don't want to get your trousers. Oh, no. Oh, no. Happy Juneteenth, guys. China. Next. AOC. AOC, what up, girl? What up, girl? I can save you. I can save you. I can change your mind. I can change you, girl. AOC says, which one is Planet Fitness? Next. Melting points. Gold, 1,948 degrees Fahrenheit. Titanium, 3,034 degrees Fahrenheit. Tungsten, 6,177 degrees Fahrenheit. Notice they don't say the melting point of steel beams. But anyway. And then rainbow flags. Any opinion that's not their own. Pretty much. That's because they are
Beta!
Next. Days since Joe Biden shit his pants. 0. That's funny. Laughing? No. It's not funny because it's true. Next. When you grab your ugly friend so you're the hot chick in the picture. This is for the ladies. When you grab your ugly friend so you're the hot chick in the picture. Look at Jill. Look at Jill and old, the heck? Talib Kweli? No, that's a rapper. Rashida Tlaib. Oh, God. Oh, no.
It's a man, baby!
Next. This is why I have trust issues. This right here is why I have trust issues. 1. Hey, girl, what's good? What your name is? What your name is, girl? She stands up. Oh, no. This is why I have trust issues. Oh, sorry, Floor. I had to do it. I had to do it to him. Next. Remember when this was going to save your life? The one-way signs at the grocery store, which like made traveling through a grocery store way more chaotic. Instead of just going to the empty aisle, oh, there's an arrow pointing this way. I can't walk that way down the empty aisle. I got to go to the next aisle over, which is packed. So now I got to walk through all these people. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Next. It's always darkest before the dawn. Look at this beautiful sunrise. It's always darkest before the dawn.
It's a man, baby!
Hey, shout out the dawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. And that's it for the memes. All right. Before we go on, make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. What's up, Robbie? I'm almost positive she does not work out. Which one is supposed to be the hot? Hold on, let me see what people are saying during the memes. Let's read the chat while I check through this chat. You guys can hit that like button. Hit up the Cashapp. If you want to support the channel, you can do memberships. You can do super chats. You can do Cashapp is on the screen. You know, it's appreciated, but it's not necessary. The best way to help out is make sure you're subscribed, hitting the like button, and sharing the video out to some friends. But hit up that Cashapp because your boy broke. That's right.
Wait till I get my money right.
Jungle Beaver memes. They took the cleaver to the beaver. Did you buy that soundboard from Skip? Robbie, you think I pay for any of this? I do everything for free. I'm not paying for nothing. I'll learn how to do it myself for free before I'll pay for it. Pennies on the dollar spike. Airplane. Pride Month is so gay. Josh mod me so I can ban Robbie from mentioning that name. What name did he mention? Oh, I saw he mentioned the weird uh the weird diaper sniper and Luca. Luca's all right. Let's not hate on Luca. But I guess they like to hang out with the diaper sniper. Ain't that right, Robbie? I literally just did that to my husband's brand new car. Shout out to SoCal. I didn't see the median. Are they lurking? I don't know. No, we have new lurkers, Robbie. You haven't been here in a while. We moved on. We got new lurkers and haters. Susan Vega. What is the song Suzanne Vega? I don't know who that is. What the? Yeah, he's not here. Leave him alone. I think we went too hard on that guy. I can't breathe. Happy Juneteenth. You are not saving nobody, Josh, but your own butt. Oh, when I said I'm going to save AOC? You know I love my big booty Latinas. Wait, so we can't talk about people who aren't here? Boo. I mean, I'd rather not. I remember when bitches was a positive thing. I think it still is in the hood and in rap music. When Jesus called the Canaanite woman a dog that bites the hand that feeds, he was technically calling her a bitch because a bitch is a female dog, and he called a female a dog. So technically he called her a bitch. And dumbass is actually perfectly acceptable to say biblically because it just means you're being like a dumb donkey. You're being like a donkey. Like a donkey. You're acting like a donkey. All right. What your name is, girl? Hey. I'm almost positive she does not work out. The Don. Okay, Josh, what are you sipping on? Coffee. Coffee from a mason jar. It's getting cold. I need to go get another cup soon. We're not breaking the beers out until the after party. Wasn't it Susan? I don't know who that is. Jesus had no chill. That's right. Josh, don't conflate. I'm not conflating. It's literal. That's a literal interpretation. I'm pretty sure Jesus would be okay with that. And dumbass does mean dumb donkey. You're not saying somebody's literally a dumb butthole. I guess maybe some people imply it that way, but that's not what I mean. Anyway, let's get to the reels and the rapid fire news, and then we can Bible thump. Open all in new window. Let's see what we got. Okay, first, reels aren't great this week, but we got something for you. We got a little something. This is not a reel, but it's a short. Look at this Hot Wheels track. You guys remember these? These things were epic. I loved these things. This guy's got a Luigi car. He's sending it down the Hot Wheels. He's going to make it. He's over the castle. He's going to make it. Yes. Oh, no. Bro, Luigi just got decapitated. What? One more time, Luigi. You can do it. Mario Kart. Whoa. Damn. They decapitated our boy Luigi. What the? That's not good. It's no bueno. This guy's pretty cool. I think I might have played this before, but we're like on the 3rd year of the show. So maybe some will get played twice, but this guy's pretty epic. Check this guy out.
Oh, it is a challenge. Sorry. It's a challenge today. That's right. It's a challenge. Can I put on a sweater while doing this? Then you'd be really impressed. Okay, let's see if I can impress you today. Here we go. Get ready. First, we must do Nicolas Cage basket.
Nicolas Cage pillow. He got it.
He's in. All right. Now, this is it. Putting on a sweater while doing this.
Bro, this is the most legendary old dude ever.
Here we go. Okay. Here we go. All right. Here's the sweater.
This guy's awesome.
Gotta get it. Where's the armhole? Where's the armhole?
Get it. You can get it, my boy. Let's go.
There's one arm. All right. Here we go.
All right. Now you got to do it with the other hand.
Okay. We got to get the other arm. The other arm.
Watch this. Look at that. Oh, he almost dropped it. He got it. He got it.
Oh, I think we did it. We did it.
Let's go.
We did it. Uh-oh.
Yo, that guy is a legend right there.
It's a man, baby.
Nice. All right. Next. We got another one that we can do full screen. Oh, check this out. Okay. The cop says, "Do you know why I pulled you over now, sir?" There's no audio. Oh, and maybe there is audio. This never gets old. Do you know why I pulled you over?
Do you know why I pulled you over just now, sir?
Sorry, I was speeding.
I'm gonna have to write you a speeding ticket.
Because my wife is giving birth to my son.
Hi. I was wondering if there are any mothers here who are giving birth to babies and there isn't a father.
A lot.
A lot.
Thank God. That's excellent.
Hey, hon.
I'm trying to get out of a speeding ticket. Just play along until he leaves.
You're late.
God's still there. It's 11th birthday. Cop came to the birthday. Oh, the wife died. Fake wife. Graduation day. He's going off to college. The cop is still watching. That's sweet. Years later, he's an old man texting his son, and the cop is still making sure he's dead.
All right. I'll let you off with a warning.
Whoa! That's a Juneteenth celebration right there. The shooting's about to start. Next! This is your sign to just stop running when you feel that niggle. Niggle. N-I-G-G-L-E. Niggle. This is your sign to just stop running when you feel that niggle. He said, "Is niggle a word?" It is a word. It's not a bad word. It says, to cause slight but persistent annoyance, discomfort, or anxiety is a niggle.
I was today years old when I learned that a nigga could niggle you. You could be niggled by a nigga.
I can't say that other word.
So I went on a rabbit hunt and I found out that nig is actually a root word for quite a few words. Let's learn them together. Niggardliness.
Happy Juneteenth, y'all.
Niggingly. Niggardly. And niggarded. Or niggarded. I like niggarded because that sounds like a retarded nigga. Niggliest. That sounds like the ugliest nigga around. Nigglings. That sounds like when you got too many babies. Niggling. That's just one baby. Nigglier. I guess that's the person that's the uglier nigga, but that's not the ugliest nigga. Nigglers, that's a nigga that juggles.
He juggles
Niggards,
like the other guy?
that's old niggas. And niggard, that's one old nigga. Niggles, that's when a nigga laughs. Niggled, that's when a nigga did laugh. Niggler, that's a villainous nigga. Niggers, that's the old faithful. Nigger, that goes the original root. Niggle, that's when you tickle a nigga. And niggly.
Oh my. All right. Happy Juneteenth. We learned something new today. We're going to have to start using a lot of those words. All right. So, enough of the reels. We're done with the reels. So this is from a local Facebook page. So this is the drum circle at Liberty Park, which is where all the hippies and potheads and stuff go every Sunday. And they do the drum circle. And it gets quite large. I go there sometimes, well, not now that I work during the night, but I used to go there and I would go behind this hill right here. There's a lake and I would go fishing on the lake. I've got videos and stuff at this park. But so the comments, I just love this because it's so funny when the left eat their own, when the anarchist socialist types eat themselves. Because when there's no law and order, chaos ensues. And even the peaceful hippie groups like eat themselves. So look at this. Somebody said, can we end amplified sound at the drum circle? Who thinks it's not a good vibe? I wanted to ground myself and tune into the earth and the tribal drums. But no, it was some guy shouting into a mic for hours. So she says that comment, right? Because drum circle's gotten very big and there's always a stabbing. There's always people getting arrested and cops rolling up and raiding it and drug deals going on and everybody's high. Girls dancing around with armpit hair and no shirts on, topless, with little kids. And it's a nasty scene. The cool kids call it the scum circle. But so this girl says she wants to end amplified sound because there's probably some wannabe rapper there rapping into a microphone over the drums. It's supposed to be boom, 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 boom. But instead, people are going there with guitars and amplifiers and battery packs and microphones, practicing their rap career. So look at the comments. This is so funny when they eat themselves. So somebody agrees. Please, please, please keep it to drums, cut the cord, drop the mic. This isn't jam night. Then someone says it's about perspective. You're not going to have any luck getting people to attend the drum circle that you specifically want, not unless you organize a separate event, but amplified sounds are just as much part of the earth and the universe. Then this guy says, fuck nah, good luck, honestly. Can't cut expression or voices of the city. It's not planned out. Anyone and everyone can come. We just want drums and tribal only pay for a sound bath. Regulation of drum is like saying homeless aren't allowed. Good luck. People bring and do what they will with the drum circle. Always have, always will. I'm just a drummer in Vegas. I can say that mics and bad singers have times ruined our circle's vibes. I'm all for proper drum circle etiquette. That's why people come. So this person agrees. I feel the same way. This person agrees. We initiated the circle back in '94 as a Native American professional drummer percussionist. I believe that the drums should dominate this event, nothing more. Some people agree, but it's funny when you see the people who don't. I think it's proper etiquette. This person agrees. Y'all will figure something out. Pieces of the utmost held quality there, not your piece. Not your piece, but your piece. If you're in tune, you'll know when it's either time to move on. It's literally on the name. It's Drum Circle. A lot of them agreeing since I was here last, but there was a lot of people disagreeing. Hold on. I'm going to find the ones. There were some funny ones. All these people are agreeing. Might as well have a Bible study too. Might as well have a Bible study too. I completely agree. Personally, I've seen many a drum where things stay the same and where there's things change. I, for one, welcome some electric bass. Where did all the good ones go? There was people freaking out. Like, what are you, maybe you should stop inviting Yoko Ono to the drum. Facebook really just shows how much the local music community tries to gatekeep everything. I don't know where all the disagreements went. I think they removed them because there was a lot of people like freaking out at this person. Anyway, that bit got ruined. Okay, forget that. cancel that. I think they removed a lot of the negative comments because when I put that in there a couple days ago, when I put it in my folder, it was like people are like, "Oh, what are you a police officer now? You want to regulate everything? What are you, an authoritarian dictator?" They're like calling her all these names, and everybody's freaking out at her. And I was like, "Oh, the hippies are eating themselves. Tell those hippies to get a job, not the scum circle." Okay. So check this out. And this was on Facebook, so I fact checked it, and I have a video here in a second. I just thought this was cool. Remember when the Titanic sank in the movie Titanic? It started filling up with water, and it tilted up straight, and then it sank straight down. I guess they followed that design, and they designed this marine research vessel to do just that. So this is a ship that the back half fills up with water, and it goes to these chambers, and then it tilts down, and it's built so that it's a working ship, vertical and horizontal. And I just thought this was really cool. I've never seen this. The research vessel RV Flip is the only vessel in the world capable of shifting from horizontal to vertical position in the middle of the ocean. Flip is not a small ship. It's about 108 meters long and weighs 700 tons. Engineers designed it to be able to move to a vertical position with 90 degrees straight, so that the front of the ship at the top is about 17 meters high, while at the bottom is submerged 91 meters long. Most of the ship is submerged underwater, which helps the ship's stability and resistance to waves. The transformation process takes about 30 minutes, in which the seawater is pumping into huge tanks in the back of the ship, which makes it sink into the water to go to a vertical position. Considered one of the most important ships in the field of scientific research of seas and oceans. And I just thought this was really cool. So here's a video. Yeah, you're right, Spike. The Olympic, not the Titanic. So I wonder what the crew is doing while this is happening. They're probably like strapped into they probably I guess they would lay on the floor. If you lay on your floor and put your feet on the wall, then you just go up and then you're standing up. That's pretty awesome. Science rules. Bill Nye the Science Guy. That's what never mind. I had a dirty joke. I was going to make a dirty joke, but I think you know where I was going with my dirty joke, but isn't that awesome? That's so cool. Now look at the crew. And see, so it's built. It's like built like a dang optical illusion where like I'm sure it's built so that when they're sailing it and it's vertical, like there must be the steering wheel maybe rotates. I don't know, but I thought this was like super interesting.
Yeah, so because it just spiraled down as
It spirals because when it rotates into the vertical, there's this angular momentum which converted into the location it comes onto. So over time,
That's awesome. Awesome. Anyway, what else? Rapid fire news. The dude from Nathan's Hot Dogs, greatest champion ever, Joey Chestnut, Joey the Jaws Chestnut, the greatest Nathan Hot Dogs hot dog eating champion ever, signed a deal with a fake meat company, a vegan fake meat company, and now Nathan's has canceled him from the event because they don't want a dude who's sponsored by one of their fake hot dog competitors eating in the event. So Joey Chestnut is out of the national. They're trying to get him back in. We'll see what happens. 16-time hot dog eating champion, but he's not limited to hot dogs. He eats eggs, 141 eggs. Oh my God. Could you imagine the gas from that? Holy crap. Shrimp wontons, 390. He ate 390 shrimp wontons. Pierogies, 165 against an 8 minutes. He ate 141 eggs in 8 minutes. That's ridiculous. But anyway, he signed a deal with a freaking fake meat company. And Impossible Foods got himself embroiled in the ultimate face-off when he signed a deal with the plant-based brand Impossible Foods, the Impossible Burgers. A perceived slight to his longtime association with Nathan. So Nathan cut him out of the event. But he's trying to get back in, so we'll see what happens. So that's from The Guardian, but interesting story. Update on AJ. Update on our boy AJ. From U.S. News, Alex Jones' assets to be liquidated as his company exits bankruptcy. So we spent a lot of time on this last week. I'm not going to spend much time on it this week. But, yeah, they decided he's got to liquidate all of his stuff. Now, he does shows on Mug Club. So I'm thinking he's going to be okay. Maybe he just works in Crowder Studios now because they both live in Austin, Texas. But a judge on Friday ordered a court-supervised liquidation of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' personal assets, but he dismissed the bankruptcy of Jones' company, Free Speech Systems, without ordering it to be liquidated. Okay, so wait. So his company doesn't have to be liquidated, but his personal assets have to be liquidated. Okay. Chapter 7 trustee to sell Jones' assets, including his ownership stake in Free Speech. Oh, he's got to sell his ownership. I wonder if Crowder will get it. The parent company of InfoWars website proceeds would go to pay Jones' creditors, relatives of 20 students, blah, blah, blah. So just a little update on that. He doesn't have to liquidate his company, but he does need to sell ownership of it and liquidate his assets. That's horrible what they're doing to that man. Because he does a show and he asked a question one time. And now 20 years later, and then they say he's dancing on the graves of dead children. Who's really dancing on the graves of the dead children? Maybe the parents who want $1.5 billion from a news commentator? It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's go to the main cam and do a few of these stories. Uh-oh. As Boeing looks to buy a key 737 supplier, a whistleblower says the problems run deep. Oh, no. Y'all know what happens to Boeing whistleblowers. We'll keep our eye on this story because this dude might not make it much longer. I think they've killed like 4 whistleblowers. Allegedly. Right? I mean, they would never do that. Those people hung themselves. Right? Just like those people it's like they had a run-in with the Clintons.
Murderers. Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yeah. I know Alex had a sweet Coyote Mustang. Not anymore. That's crazy. Bill Nye the something guy. Bill Nye the science guy. For most of his career, the Spirit Aerosystems Santiago Paredes worked at the end of the line. It was his job to catch production errors before the fuselage left the factory in Wichita. Paredes caught a lot of them. Poor quality. Anyway. Basically, Boeing is trying to buy a fuselage thing, and a whistleblower came out. It was just a matter of time, Paradis said, before a serious defect escaped the factory. The door plug blowout threw a whole new level of scrutiny to Boeing and Spirit. Federal regulators believed that 4 key bolts were missing when the plane left Boeing's factory, but the door plug had not reopened. Since then, the two companies have scrambled to improve their manufacturing. Boeing changes his focus, clashed with management. Paradis says he brought his concerns to management repeatedly because he said It's poor quality of work, just plain and simple, he says, flipping through photos on his phone of the serious mistakes that he flagged during his dozen years as a quality inspector at Spirit. He's a quality inspector, and he's blowing the whistle. And Parodies was demoted in retaliation, he says, for pushing back on his managers. He did eventually get his job back, but took a lengthy battle 2 years ago. He left Spirit. Defects in the factory. We strongly urge anyone at Spirit with concerns about any aspects of our operations to speak up, safe in the knowledge that they will be protected. Right. I think 4 of the whistleblowers are dead now, though. Isn't that crazy? That guy's got some balls stepping up. He might be the 5th on the list. Anyway, this is conspiracy corner time. So we got the Boeing stuff. We got Alex Jones. I don't know if there's a conspiracy related to this, but it seems fishy that Utah, we're always in a drought, apparently. We can't do fireworks. They've wanted to do like water restrictions. Our communist mayor here in Salt Lake City is all about green energy and all this other crap. Well, Lake Powell, one of our reservoirs, is missing 40,000 acre feet of water after accidental release. So this is a reservoir that's used to hold water that feeds tributaries during droughts. So when there's a drought, they can release some water and it goes into the tributaries. Because if you look at, I've shown it on the stream before, but if you look at the map, so the water runs down from the tops of the mountains, right, into the valley. And there used to be like, imagine like there used to be like 5 main rivers coming from each mountain. And they would go into the valley and feed the Jordan River. Well, they show what it looked like originally, and they had blue lines for the water paths that lead to the river to feed the river. Then they show what it looks like now with all the branching off that they've done with it, and it's like it's like a spider web. There's like 1 million lines. So anyway, we use way too much water here. The problem is Joseph Smith and the Mormons came from the East Coast. They like their green grass. They like their St. Augustine and their Kentucky bluegrass. They like the vibrant green grass. But Salt Lake City, Utah is a desert climate. So we have like the 3rd lowest precipitation levels in the country due to being in a desert. But we have like the 2nd highest water consumption in the country. And that's because they imported Kentucky bluegrass and St. Augustine. I don't think they use St. Augustine, but they imported Kentucky bluegrass from the East Coast to Utah to make it greener here. The Mormons wanted to make it green and lush. So they brought in grass. That grass needs water. We're in a desert. So they divert all the water that feeds our natural water systems to all these places to water the grass, to make it green and lush, which is stupid. It's a horrible idea, and it's not working. Well, now one of our reservoirs that feeds not only the Colorado River, but also all that green grass that they want to have, accidentally lost 40,000 feet acres of water. Somebody pushed a button. According to the officials overseeing the nation's 2nd largest reservoir, the Bureau of Reclamation told Colorado Sun they accidentally released. I don't know if Lake Powell is in Colorado or Utah, but it does feed the Colorado River, and we get water from that here in Utah. So this is not really like a super local story, but it has to do with Utah. Where was that? Around the Utah's Colorado River Commissioner Gene Shawcroft told KSL News Radio the Bureau was working to balance millions of acre feet of water between repaying water borrowed from Flaming Gorge and Blue Mesa reservoirs and very wet winter that shortly followed. The water from the reservoirs was used as an emergency boost for Lake Powell and Lake Mead at the height of the drought. Those releases ended in 2023. The hydrology changed dramatically. This was a unique situation. Um, under the circumstances, that's very good operation speed of performance. 40,000 acre feet is within 0.5% of everything that got moved around. I think that's pretty remarkable. Basically, they freaking lost 40,000 acre feet of water after we just had a very wet winter, and they didn't need to use that much water. So, conspiracy, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just interesting. Like, they always want to keep us in a drought. They always want to have something to blame for climate change so they can push more green policies. I don't know where I'm going with this. I got to hurry up. Strong winds, steep terrain, hamper crews battling Los Angeles area's first major fire of the year. Another wildfire in California. Is it natural? Is it climate change? Is it due to not properly managing vegetative growth? Or is it maybe all the homeless people living in the mountains lighting fires and smoking crack? Or is it space lasers trying to make solar powered energy and beam it down to test facilities in California, which lights the forest on fire? I don't know. And then last but not least, Novo Nordisk CEO to testify in U.S. Senate hearing on the high cost of Ozempic. So this is what they just did the South Park thing about. Ozempic is the weight loss control drug that, or no, it's a diabetes drug. It's a diabetes drug, but people are using it to lose weight. So rich people are buying it all up, and the people who actually need it, the diabetes people, can't get it. And this cost is skyrocketing because they're like marketing it as a weight loss drug, which makes sense that losing weight would fix diabetes. Maybe if America wasn't so obese, we wouldn't have a diabetes problem. Crazy. Maybe if they weren't poisoning the food, we wouldn't have a diabetes problem. If they weren't putting drugs in the food to make us fat and lazy and stupid, then we wouldn't have to take more drugs to lose weight to get the diabetes that came from the drugs that they put in the food that make us fat, lazy, and stupid. It's a vicious cycle. You understand? Josh, look up the Hoover Dam and the Mulholland projects. What does that have to do with what I was saying just now about the water thing? I think there's a conspiracy there. I haven't developed it yet, so I don't know. I'm kind of just ranting at this point. Here, I'm going to play this video and go. Oh, this video is not related to what I'm talking about. I hate when they do this. Why are you playing a video for a news story that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about? I'm going to find something to play. I got to go take a bathroom break real quick. And then when I get back, we will wrap the show up with Hosea and Gomer. Let me see if I can find something to play for you guys. Just for like 30 seconds while I'm gone. Biden rushes to new adventures. I don't know what that's about. Here, we'll just play this again. We'll play this again. What happened? You guys can watch this while I was gonna play the Biden at the Juneteenth thing again, but you guys can watch Corinne Jean-Pierre talking about what happened when Biden froze up on the stage. I haven't heard this, so you guys.
There were two instances in recent days where leaders, former President Obama and Giorgia Meloni of Italy, they physically put hands on the president to guide him and show him, give stage directions. Are they doing that on their own, or has anybody asked them to run the show like that?
First of all,
let me spoke to the most recent, right? And as we saw on Saturday, President Obama's office put out a statement. So I would refer you to that statement about what was being accused in those by others. And he said this did not happen in the sense of what people were saying they were seeing, right? Or what was being falsely reported that they were seeing. Let's not forget, President Obama, President Biden have a relationship. They are friends. They're like family to each other. And I think that's what you saw. You saw the president put his hand on the back of President Biden, and they walked off the stage after taking questions or at an event taking questions from Jimmy Kimmel. That is what you saw. But I would refer you to President Obama's office statement. They talked about this, they discussed this, and they came out with it pretty quickly.
Maloney,
all right.
You wanted to say something about
Maloney? I don't have anything. I don't know specifically what happened with Maloney.
The wandering, the parachutist.
Oh, I mean, look, that was, as I said, it was a cheap, a cheap fake. That was definitely a cheap fake. It was. This was widely fact-checked. That video was widely fact-checked, including by conservative media, on what happened, what occurred. The president walked over to give a thumbs up to divers who had just landed right in front of him. And if you run that tape a little bit longer, you would see what was happening, what the president was actually doing, and it is a cheap fake.
Is she saying that when he gave the thumbs up to when he walked over to nothing and they like landed somewhere else? I haven't seen that fact checked. I think you're full of shit, Corinne Jean-Pierre. Sorry, I cussed, and we're about to do Bible thumping.
That is what.
All right, let's get into it. If you're visiting the channel, if you're new here, just so you know, I am not a preacher man. I'm not a good example of how to be a Christian. I'm trying my best. This is not meant to be preach at you time, but I do love the Bible. I love the stories in the Bible. And in the last hour, we don't always talk about the Bible. We spent 7 weeks talking about different dictators, all the different dictators. We've talked about Scientology. We've talked about the Book of Mormon. We've talked about conspiracy theories like nukes are fake, dinosaurs helped build the pyramid, the Titanic was an insurance scam, all sorts of things in the last hour. But sometimes in the last hour, we do some Bible thumping. And that's what we're doing this week. We're going to be reading about Hosea and Gomer. Hold on one second. Let me open some things up. Hold on. Dang it. Sorry. It's not a super professional show. Okay. All right, guys. Are you ready? Let's get into it. This week. Hold on, let me record it. This week, JSUrbanAdventures Bible thumping story time. We have, it's too loud. We have the story of Hosea and Gomer. Hosea and Gomer, the first book of the minor prophets. We're going to go over Hosea 1 through 3. Talk about how God commanded Hosea to marry a woman of whoredom, a prostitute, an adulteress, because Israel committed adultery against God. So God commanded a prophet to save a prostitute, to show love and mercy, but also wrath. His name was Hosea. This takes place in the early 700s BC, after the reign of the tyrannical reign of King Jeroboam. When Israel was in disarray, Hosea was the first book of the minor prophets. Chapters 1 through 3 are a narrative of the story of Gomer and Hosea. Chapters 4 through 13 show the cyclical nature of history. How Israel falls to evil, then they pray for mercy and they beg for forgiveness and they come back to God and God shows his mercy and God shows his love. Then they fall away again. Then they come back. Then they fall away again. And that's repeated, chapters 4 through 13. Chapter 14 is a conclusion and a warning of what happens when you disobey God. This is the story of Hosea and Gomer. All right. Let's get into it. Before I go on, let me show you. There's some more art. Pictures. We got pictures. Hold on. We got one more. This picture I like. So this is like a newspaper article or something. It's not real. It's fake. But it's like, this is what the newspaper article would look like in modern day Christianity. It says, OMG, stories of scandalous grace. Congregation horrified at pastor's choice of spouse. Local preacher buys wife out of prostitution again. This is what they would do. They would, if a pastor did something like what Hosea is commanded to do, the church would freak out and judge wrongly and call him a bad guy and things like that. But Hosea was not a bad guy. Hosea was the first of the minor prophets. Minor prophet does not mean a lesser prophet. It just means it's a shorter story. So we've talked about Ezra. We've talked about Nehemiah. Some of the major prophets would be like Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel, and there's other ones. But today we're going to talk about Hosea. So I'm going to start reading. I'm going to read chapters 1 through 3. As I said in that little intro there, chapters 1 through 3 are a narrative. And by the way, if you're new here and you don't like Bible thumping, if the Bible brings out your demons, then maybe just shut up and listen and you might learn something or leave. But I'm not talking to any of you guys in the chat. I'm just talking to any of the lurkers who might not like the Bible thumping. So I'm going to read through all of chapters 1, 2, and 3. This is the narrative. This is the first 3 chapters are narrative. They're written as narrative. Hosea was compiled by an author later, but it's a collection of poetry from Hosea. Some of it, once we get to chapters 4 through 13, it becomes more poetic and it seems repetitive, but it's really demonstrating, like I said, the cyclical, the way that history is cyclical. There's nothing new under the sun. We fall away and we come back. We fall away and we come back. We fall away and we come back. And for all of history, this has happened. And so chapters 4 through 13 demonstrate that. It goes through a series of stories about Gilead and Ephraim and Israel or not Gilead, I'm sorry. Starts with a J. Judah, Israel, and Ephraim, how they disobey God and then they come back to God and God punishes them. He pours his wrath out on them. But I'm not going to read all of 4 through 13, but I will read all of 1 through 3, and then I will read all of chapter 14 because it's a powerful chapter at the end there. So let's get into it. King James Version. Yes, we're reading from the King James Version. So King James Version, chapter 1. The word of the Lord that came unto Hosea, the son of Beeri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. So Jeroboam was the king prior to this. Hosea lived through 4 kings' reigns, and Jeroboam was one of the worst. It was a rough time. So verse 2, the beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea. And then the Lord said to Hosea, go take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And the Lord said unto him, call his name Jezreel. So they end up having 3 kids, and the names of the kids all have meanings. They're very important. Jezreel means to separate, or Jezreel means to scatter, or judgment is coming. Basically, God will scatter, judgment is coming. That's what the name Jezreel means. For yet a little while, and the Lord said unto him, call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter. And God said unto him, call her name Lo Ruhamah. Lo Ruhamah means no mercy. Call her name Lo Ruhamah, and I will no more have mercy, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and I will save them by the Lord their God, and will save them by the bow. And will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by men, nor by horsemen. Verse 8, now when she had weaned Lo Ruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said God, call his name Lo Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. So Jezreel, judgment is coming. Lo Ruhamah is no mercy, and Lo Ami is not my people. This book, when I say this, understand God's emotions are not like our emotions. And also, Hosea is a poet. So from Hosea's writings and Hosea's eyes, the way he writes it, it shows the emotions of God. It shows the wrath of God, the anger of God, the sorrow of God, and the love of God. It's not the same as our emotions. Think of it more like a strong father. When a strong father is disappointed that his child does something wrong. He's not sad like when we get sad. It's not that type of sorrow. It's not like, oh, my grandma died and I'm sad and I'm crying and I'm mourning that. It's more like disappointment in when your children disobey. So we're going to see some verses in the middle section that kind of demonstrate that. Verse 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. So Hosea has been told to marry Gomer. God says you're going to marry a woman of whoredom. And I actually want to pull up the interlinear here, because sometimes I'm not sure. Sometimes, like in the Bible, prostitution and adultery are kind of like the same thing. And I've talked about this before, that Mary Magdalene, it never says she was a prostitute. It says she was an adulteress. But in Hosea, Gomer is also an adulteress, but they call her a whore or a prostitute. So I want to look at the interlinear here. Oh, crap. I just pushed the wrong button. Hold on one second. I can't see chat anymore because I hit the wrong button. So let's go to the interlinear. I want to see what the word is for whoredom in this verse. In the days of Eri, son of Hosea, Yahweh, the word of Israel, Jeroboam, in the days of Hezekiah, Yahweh, house of Yahweh, to speak again, committed harlotry. Great for the harlotry children. Harlotry. So the Greek is xenonym or harlotry. So she was a harlot. She has committed harlotry. Xenonym. It's used in Hosea 1:2, Hosea 2:4, Hosea 4:12, and Hosea 5:4. To yourself a wife of harlotry, unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children. Take a wife of harlotry. So the actual word in the Greek is harlot or harlotry. So 5 occurrences in the Bible. And it is a conjunction. Could also be used as a preposition. Cohorted forces likely to assume for I'm trying to look for the definition. Anyway, I just like to check that because I'm interested. Is she a prostitute or is she just an adulteress or what? It's also not known whether when he first met her, if she was already a harlot or if that came later, because it does happen later, which we're about to get to. But she may have been one prior to Hosea ever meeting her, or maybe not. We can't just assume things. It's not said, but it does say God says you're gonna find a woman of whoredom or harlotry. You're gonna marry a woman like that. So chapter 2, say ye unto your brethren Ami and to your sister Ruhamah, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother hath played the harlot. She that conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink. So in this verse, Gomer is chasing the world, basically. And it's also not even known, because they didn't have DNA tests back then, that these are even Hosea's kids, right? Because it says they were born out of whoredom. So Hosea doesn't even know if these are his kids. And she leaves Hosea. She runs away from Hosea. She tries to hide from Hosea. This is a great parallel to Israel and God. That's what the whole point of this story is, to show the parallels between Israel, or God's chosen people, and how when they turn from him, he'll turn on them. He'll turn away from them, and he'll pour his wrath out on them. And then once they've suffered enough, we're hard-headed. Then we come back begging on our knees. We say, we're crying out in our time of need. And then God shows us mercy. So Gomer leaves Hosea with 3 kids that he don't even know if they're his. And she goes back into whoredom because she's chasing these men who give her money and wine and things that she loves and give her a fun time. She's chasing that. She's chasing the world. She's not, just like Israel follows the world, they don't seek God. Gomer is seeking the world instead of her husband. She's following that. She's chasing wine and strong drink. I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up my way with thorns and make a wall, that she shall not find her path. So that's Hosea writing as God speaking. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but she shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then it was better with me than now. So now you want to come back to your husband. Now you want to come back to your husband after you chased the world and you found out there ain't nothing there. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. So Hosea is saying, I gave you all those things, and I wasn't giving it to Baal. They have those things, but they give it up to Baal. It's actually pronounced Baal. But, verse 9, this is chapter 2, verse 9. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. So Hosea is coming to save her. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of mine hand. But once Hosea finds her, he's taking her back, and ain't nobody else. Don't get near my woman, Hosea says. I will also cause all of her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she hath said, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. So all the stuff your lovers gave you, it's going to burn. It's done. The beasts of the field are going to eat it. And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, where she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels. And she went after her lovers and forgot me, saith the Lord. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably to her. And I will give her her wine. I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor, the door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shalt call me no more Baali. Ishi means father, Baali means Lord. Lowercase L, Lord. So they call Baal Lord. And God is saying, you're going to call me Ishi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Aishi. I don't speak Hebrew, but that means father. Let me see, check my notes here. 2:16. Ishi. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is for Hosea. 2:16. Ishi means my husband, and Baal means Lord, but it's not the right Lord. Let's see. Chapter 2, verse 6, she was punished. Chapter 2, verse 7, she repents. She chased the world. Okay, we covered all that. All right. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things on the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and I will make them to lie down safely. I put a star there and wrote Psalm 23. I shall make them to lie, leadeth them beside the still waters, lay down in green pastures. It's kind of a parallel there. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people, and they shall say, thou art my God. Last chapter we'll read fully, chapter 3. Then saith the Lord unto me, go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of the Lord toward the children of Israel, who look to other gods and love flagons of wine. So I brought her to me for 15 pieces. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for an homer of barley and a half homer of barley. So Hosea is buying her back. He's buying her back from her lovers. Again, she keeps leaving, and then he buys her back. First time he coerces her back with love and mercy and shows her the error of her ways. Then he's got to buy her back from these whoremongers, these slave traders, basically. And I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. so I will also be for thee. Isn't that interesting? It's not just some misogynist. He said, you will not be for another man, and I will only be for you. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God, and David their king shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. And that is the story of Hosea and Gomer. We're going to keep going, though, because Hosea is longer. So that's the story, the parable, you could say, that explains how Israel, or the children of God, the nation of God's people, they fall away and they come back repeatedly over and over and over again. So chapter 4 through chapter 13 get pretty dark. It gets pretty dark, but this is where you almost see emotions of God. Not human emotions, not lovey-dovey, not feminine mess. I'm talking about a stoic, strong father, right? So let me break down chapters 4 through 13 for you guys. But first, let me see what chat's up to, what chat's saying. Any fellow pistachio lovers? Can't turn a harlot to a housewife. My Bible has a note. That's my question. What does whoredom mean? Is it just sin and evil? So the Greek word is harlot. Harlot, adulteress, whore, prostitute, slut, all of that stuff. Who's Kevin? I'm just checking what you guys are talking about. Let's go, Hosea. Okay. Joey the rebellious one here. Yeah. All right. So I wrote chapter 4 through 13. And I have some notes. I really like chapter 4, verse 6. I'm just going to read a couple verses in the beginning. So chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. I'm going to skip a few verses. This is probably my favorite verse in the whole thing. This is chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. That thou shalt be no priest on me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore I will change their glory into shame. Now, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. The word there is yada. Yada does not mean intellectual knowledge. It's a personal knowledge. It's a interpersonal knowing. So it's not knowing about God. It's not, I'm not against studying the scriptures. I do it, I don't think it's something you have to do. And I think some people, intellectual types, when they study too much into this stuff, it actually pulls them away from God, because they get too much in their head about it. And then they start trying to find contradictions, and they're like, there's a contradiction. And like, you get like Alex O'Connor or like Jordan Peterson about it, where you're getting way too intellectual with it. It's much simpler than that. Right. So there's nothing wrong with studying and learning this stuff, but that's not the knowing of God. My people suffer for lack of knowing. Does not mean my people suffer because they didn't study their Bible enough. It means my people suffer because they don't know me. It's not knowing about God. It's knowing God and walking with God and having an interpersonal relationship with him. So that's what that means there. That doesn't mean my people suffer because they don't know enough information about the Bible. It means Yada, it means my people suffer because they don't walk with me. Based God, yeah. We're gonna skip over to. We'll skip just a little bit. In verse 9, see, it gets kind of dark. Um, I will punish them for their ways and reward them for their doings, for they shall eat and not have enough, and they shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to the Lord. Verse 13 says, they sacrifice upon the tops of mountains and burnt incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. Verse 16, for Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Now the Lord will feed them as a lamb in a large place. Verse 19, the wind hath bound her up in her wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices. So see, it gets kind of dark here for a couple chapters. Israel's a mess. Judah is a mess. Ephraim is a mess. One of the things I listened to said that Ephraim is just Hosea's word for Israel, but I don't think that's right, because it definitely differentiates between Ephraim and Israel in these verses. But sometimes they call Israel Jacob. But anyway, so we're going to skip around in chapter 5. We're just going to read a couple excerpts here. Chapter 5, verse 3. I know Ephraim and Israel is not hid from me. For now, O Ephraim, thou committest whoredom, and Israel is defied. Verse 5, and the pride of Israel doth testify to his face. Therefore shall Israel and Ephraim fall to their iniquity. Judah shall also fall with them. They shall go with their flocks and with their herds to seek the Lord, but they shall not find him. He hath withdrawn himself from them. This is like when we sin and we live in sin, when we turn away from God, God turns away from us. People will pretend like God is some soft God. God turned his back on his own son when Jesus took the sins of the world onto himself on the cross. God turned his back on his own son. So God will and we are children of God, just like Israel is God's children. God, when we turn our back on God, God turns his back on us. But God is merciful. So when we come back and we call out to him, he will come back to us. And we're going to see that in some later. But for about 10 chapters, it shows us the anger. It shows us the wrath of God. So verse 10, the princes of Judah were like them that removed the bound. Therefore I will pour out my wrath upon them like water. Ephraim is oppressed and broken in judgment, because he willingly walked after the commandment. Therefore, walked after the commandment means he turned away from the commandment. They turned away from the commandment. Therefore will I be unto Ephraim as a moth, and to the house of Judah as rottenness. When Ephraim saw his sickness, and Judah saw his wound, then went Ephraim to the Assyrian and sent to King Jareb, yet could he not heal you, nor cure you of your wounds. So Israel's running to different countries. They're running to Assyria. They go to Egypt. They're turning their back on God. Chapter 6, verse 1, come and let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn and he will heal us. He hath smitten and he will bind us. So see, they turn away. Now chapter 6, they're trying to come back to God. Verse 4, O Ephraim, what shall I do unto thee? O Judah, what shall I do unto thee? For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew goeth away. A morning cloud. Think about a morning cloud, how it's there, and then as the sun rises, it just disappears. Your goodness is like a morning cloud, or it's like dew on the grass. It's there, and then it's gone. As soon as the sun comes up, so like, and the sun rising, if that represents God, as the sun is rising, they look towards it. They watch the sunrise and they're like, oh, it's so nice. But then as soon as it's there in full view, they turn away from it and it disappears. Their goodness disappears. For I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. Chapter 7, they turn on God again. Chapter 7, verse 7, they are all hot as an oven and have devoured their judges. All their kings are fallen. There is none among them that calleth unto me. Verse 11, chapter 7, verse 11, Ephraim also is like a silly dove without heart. They call to Egypt. They go to Assyria. When they shall go, I will spread my net upon them. I will bring them down as the fowls of the heaven. I will chastise them as their congregation hath heard. Woe unto them, for they have fled from me. Destruction unto them, because they have transgressed against men. Though I have redeemed them, yet they have spoken lies against me. Verse 16, they return, but not to the Most High. They are like a deceitful bow. Their princes shall fall by the sword for the rage of their tongue. This shall be their derision in the land of Egypt. So this is when Israel is looking for other kings, you know, not God's appointed kings, not the rulers that God gave them, but they're going to other kingdoms and they're putting power in warriors and men instead of looking to God. Chapter 8, Israel shall cry unto me, my God, we know thee. Israel hath cast off a thing that is good. The enemy shall pursue him. They have set up kings, but not by me. They have made princes, and I knew it not. Of their silver and their gold have they made them idols, that they may be cut off. Verse 7, for they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. I love that. I love that verse right there. Chapter 8, verse 7, for they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. You reap what you sow. You sow the wind, you just blow to and fro in the wind. You go to and fro. You don't seek God. You don't follow God. You're easily, led to this thing, to that thing. You just bounce around and you don't stand for anything. You don't follow being righteous. You just follow the world. You sow the wind and you reap the whirlwind. And a whirlwind is like a tornado. It's like destruction. It hath no stalk, but shall yield no meal. If so it yield, the strangers shall swallow it up. So even if you start to reap benefits while you're growing, while you're blowing around like the wind, maybe you'll start growing a little bit. Maybe you'll start doing better. Maybe you get rich. Maybe you become a celebrity. Maybe you become an athlete. Maybe you get rich and powerful and you make a bunch of money. But the strangers will swallow up your fruit. Deceitful people, snakes in the grass are going to come and swallow your fruit. You're growing a little fruit. Oh, you made some money. Oh, you seem like you think you're happy. And then the strangers are going to come and they're going to devour you. That's deep. That's deep. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. That's deep. Verse 14, for Israel hath forgotten his maker and buildeth temples. And Judah hath multiplied fenced cities. But I will send a fire upon his cities, and it shall devour the places thereof. Yeah, your armies and your warriors ain't going to stop God's fire. All right. Chapter 9, rejoice not, O Israel, for joy as other people, for thou hast gone a whoring from thy God. Thou hast loved a reward upon every corn floor. The floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. Verse 6, this chapter 9, verse 6. For lo, they are gone because of destruction. Egypt shall gather them up. Memphis shall bury them. I think Memphis is a demon. Let me look this up which I thought was interesting because like Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis shall bury them. Their pleasant places for their silver, nettles shall possess them, thorns shall be in their tabernacles. This is chapter 9, verse 6. Hosea 9:6. I want the interlinear, not the New International. 7, 8, 9. The winepress, threshing floor shall feed them. Egypt and Ephraim shall return to Yahweh. We got to scroll down a little bit. Appointed in the day that will do. Memphis. So the Hebrew word is Moab. What is it? Englishman's accordance in one occurrence. It's only used once in the whole Bible. Is it a place? Where's the definition? Oh, my stomach's growling. I'm hungry. Huh. Egypt will gather. Memphis will bury their treasures. You know what that is, Cecil? Is that a place or is that a demon? Anyway, been through Memphis. Yeah, well, the Memphis in America is a mess. That's why I thought that was interesting that in the Bible, Memphis is not, Memphis shall bury them. Egypt shall gather them up, Memphis shall bury them. So I guess Memphis isn't a nice place in the Bible either. Makes sense when you name a city after, yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. All right, chapter 9, verse 11. As for Ephraim, their glory shall fly away like a bird from the birth, and from the womb and from the conception. So their wombs will be barren. Though they bring up their children, yet will I bereave them, that there shall not be a man left. Yea, woe also to them when I depart from them. Ephraim, as I saw Tirius, is planted in the pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. So Ephraim traveled away and they found a nice place to live, but their children are going to go to the murderer and their wombs are going to be barren. Give them, O Lord, what wilt thou give? What wilt thou give? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. Dang. See, God don't play. 9 verse 17, my God will cast them away because they did not hearken unto him, and they shall be wanderers among nations. I have some stuff in chapter 10, chapter 11. It's more of the same for a couple more chapters. I'll just read it. 10, 1 through 3, Israel is an empty vine. He bringeth forth fruit unto himself according to the multitude of his fruit. He hath increased the altars according to the goodness of his lands. They have made goodly images. Their heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty. He shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. For now they shall say, we have no king, because we feared not the Lord. What then shall a king do to us? Verse 12, sow to yourself in righteousness, reap in mercy, break up your fallow ground. For it is time to seek the Lord till he come and rain righteousness upon you. Verse 13, this is deep. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity, ye have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way, in the multitude of thy mighty men. What they mean, the multitude of mighty men, they went to Assyria because Assyria had a strong army. So this is basically later philosophy and things like that would call this might makes right. They thought they have the biggest army, so we're going to go there. They have a multitude of men. They have a strong army. That's probably the best place to go. So they go there. But God's like, you don't need an army. You could be one man could, don't you remember Samson? You could take out an entire army when I rain a pillar of fire down on them. Like, you don't need to worry about armies. You need to worry about God. So that was verse 13, chapter 10, 13. Chapter 11, when Israel was a child, then I loved him. So now 11 and 12, now we're going to see a softer side of God. The poetry, it gets a little, the sun is starting to come out, right? Those verses, those chapters were all pretty dark. It starts to get a little better in chapter 11 and 12 and 13. But Israel still is a mess. Chapter 11, the poems Hosea's poems tell how God loved Israel. It seems like God feels sorrow for what his children do in chapter 11, verse 8. So let me read 11, 1 through 4. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. As they called them, so went from them. They sacrificed unto Baalim and burned incense to graven images. I taught Ephraim also to go, taking them by their arms, but they knew not that I healed them. I drew them with cords of a man, with bands of love, and I was to them as they that take off the yoke on their jaws. And I laid meat unto them. So this is God. God is saying, I loved them. I did good by them. Verse 7, and my people are bent to backsliding from me. Though they called them to the Most High, none at all would exalt him. In verse 8, this is where, like, it seems like God is showing, like, God is sad about this. But again, this is Hosea's poem from Hosea's writing. It's poetry. It's not It's not earthly emotions. This is a different thing. So I'm not trying to say that. But it says, how shall I give thee unto Ephraim? How shall I deliver thee, Israel? How shall I make thee as Admah? How shall I set thee as Zeboim? Mine heart is turned within me. My repentings are kindled together. I will not execute the fierce anger of mine. I will not return to destroy Ephraim. For I am God and not man, the Holy One in the midst of thee, and I will not enter into the city. So he said, my heart is turned within me. My repentings are kindled together. So God is like sad that his children keep backsliding and keep turning away from him. God doesn't like that. It does it. Um, but he's saying, even if I don't show you my wrath, I don't like this. Chapter 13, verse 2. So chapter 13, now we're caught up. So that was Hosea for the last chapters. He's telling us about in the past what Israel and Ephraim and Judah have done. How they leave God, they come back. They leave God, they come back. Now in verse 13, we're at current times. Not current 2024, but current times for Hosea. So Hosea is writing this in the present, right? And now they sin more and more, and have made them molten images of their silver and idols according to their own understanding. All of it the work of the craftsmen. They say to them, let the men that sacrifice kiss the calves. So see, chapter 11 and 12, they're coming back. God showing them mercy. Chapter 13, Hosea is watching it happen again. It's all happening again. Chapter 13, verse 4. Yet I am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt, and thou shalt know no God before me, for there is no Savior beside me. I did know thee in the wilderness, in the land of great drought. According to their pasture, so were they filled. They were filled, and their heart was exalted. Therefore they have forgotten me. Therefore I will be unto them as a lion, as a leopard by the way will I observe them. I will meet them as a beast that is bereft of her whelps. I will meet them as a bear that is bereaved of her whelps. God said he's going to meet you like a bear who just lost her kids. If you mess with a bear's cubs, give it a try. Give it a try. See how it turns out for you. I wouldn't recommend it. And will rend the call of their heart. I will rend the call of their heart. I'll rip their heart out, basically. Like a bear. When you mess with a bear's cubs, I'll rip your heart out. And there will I devour them like a lion. The wild beast shall tear them. O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thine help. I will be thy king. Where is any other man that may save thee in all the cities? And thy judges of whom thou saidst, give me a king and princes. I gave thee a king in my anger and took him away in my wrath. So God's tired of it. God's done. He gave him a king. They don't listen to the king. They run to cities with other kings. They don't follow God. God's done. He's over it. He's tired. He's tired of the mess. Chapter 14. So that's the poetry, the history of Israel, the parallel to the story of Hosea and Gomer, but Hosea still loved Gomer, and he still went after her, and he kept buying her back, and she would turn on him, but he still, the story talks about Ephraim, Israel, and Judah, just like Gomer had Jezreel, Lo Rumaha, and Lo Ami. So the three children and the deceiving wife, but Hosea loved her and continued seeking her and continued going after her to bring her back. And she would see the error of her ways and she would return. And then she'd leave again. And then she'd come back. And people would judge somebody for something like that. That's love. So that's God's love for his children. Or like the husband and the wife. Christ is the bridegroom. Like Christ in the church, husband and wife, father and son. It's all a giant parallel. Good? All right, last one. We'll read all of chapter 14. So this is chapter 14 is a promise to forgive and love after repentance. A promise from God to forgive and love you when you repent. He will show mercy. If you turn your back on him, he'll turn you back on you. He'll show you wrath. He'll tear you up. He'll rip your heart out like a bear, right? But if you love him and you seek him, then he will forgive you and he will show you mercy. So there is a bright side to this whole thing in chapter 14. So I'll read chapter 14, 1 through 8. And then the last verse I have highlighted, the last verse we'll talk about before I read it. So chapter 14, O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. Take with you words and turn to the Lord. Say unto him, take away all iniquity and receive us graciously. So will we render the calves of our lips. Asher shall not save us. We will not ride upon horses, neither will we say any more to the work of our hands, Ye are our gods. For in thee the fatherless findeth mercy. For in thee the fatherless findeth mercy. So they're saying these idols we make with our hands, these works we do with our hands, these physical acts we do on earth that we worship as gods, these fake lower gods, the stars, the trees, the golden calves that we make, and the things we do all day. This is not what we should worship. If we're worshiping that, we're fatherless. But in God, the fatherless find a father. They find mercy. The fatherless find a mercy. Verse 4, I will heal their backsliding. I will love them freely, for mine anger is turned away from him. I will be as the dew into Israel. He shall grow as the lily and cast forth his roots as Lebanon. His branches shall spread, and his beauty shall be as the olive tree, and his smell as Lebanon. They that dwell under his shadow shall return. They shall receive as the corn and grow as the vine, and scent thereof shall be as the vine of Lebanon. Ephraim shall say, Ephraim shall say, what have I to do any more with idols? I have heard him and observed him. I am like a green fir tree. From me is thy fruit found. So that's the promise, the blessing. Now, verse 9, a historian that I was listening to talk about this says that verse 9 was actually written by the one who compiled all of this, all of these poems from Hosea. So Hosea wrote this stuff. Then the author, an author of Hosea, compiled them together into this. And verse 9, chapter 14, verse 9 is actually written by the one who compiled these things. And this is like a message to the reader. So all of this, we have the narrative of Hosea and Gomer. We have the history of Israel's backsliding and coming back and begging for mercy. We have all that. Then we have chapter 14, which is the promise that you can be forgiven and God will love you and show you mercy if you turn to him and let go of all that worldly stuff. And then verse 9 of chapter 14 is a message from the one who compiled all this to the reader. He's talking to us. He's talking to me. He's talking to you. He's talking to the reader. Who is wise, and he shall understand these things? Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of the Lord are right, and the just shall walk in them, but the transgressors shall fall therein. Who is wise, and he shall understand these things? Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of the Lord are right, and the just shall walk in them, but the transgressors shall fall therein. If you're wise, you understand this. If you're prudent, you know it to be true. But if you're a transgressor, you're the person that's like, this sounds like a dumb story. Sounds just like some stupid story. Da, 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 da. It's not true. We don't even know that Hosea existed. You're going to fall. You're going to suffer and you're going to die. And you're going to find out. Oh, you're going to find out. You mess around and find out. Don't play with God. So that's it, guys. Praise God. That's the story of Hosea. My prayer for everybody is I wish everybody well. And dang, 8:59. Perfect timing, bro. I'm a pro at this. All for God, all for the glory of God, even though I'm a mess of a person. But all right, let me see what Trout was saying. Daddy Job, come on, quit acting like people who act like a mess. That's D4L. It's not appropriate right now. Snore, inhale, hokey pokey. It's good when it comes to chickens. That's kind of the meaning of life. God rules. Yeah, definitely. Basically, that's it. Yep. I'm glad you got the point. If you're going to ride the white horse. I don't think it is either, but my auto cracked automatically. Hold on. Let me scroll up and go down instead of going backwards. Stomach growl don't mean hungry. Memphis is the first metropolitan that we know of. Okay. Was it? And it was near Egypt? All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And it was a mess, too. So Memphis in America is named after Memphis in Africa. And they're both mess. They're both a mess. Wow. If the Bible makes one thing clear, it's that God don't play. Yeah, that's what I just said. That's funny. I didn't even see that. Capitalize it. Lowercase g is lower gods. God dropped out of 5th grade in recess. Folks playing too much. Folks playing too much in recess. I think it's credited as the first metropolitan. It's in Egypt. From my understanding, Memphis is a bad place. Yeah. Any Memphis in the world is going to be a bad place, basically. Memphis is in modern-day Egypt. Long-distance information. Need to get in touch with Marie. My compassion grows warm and tender. Seesaw, clean it up. She's talking about God. God said that. Jeez Louise. I'm reading the MacArthur Study Bible. I don't know a lot about that one. I'm keeping an eye on you, Seesaw. Don't ride the white horse. Jeff Hewitt retracted his message. Shout out Jeff Hewitt. All right, guys. You know what time it is. It's 9 o'clock. Y'all know what time it is. Wrong one. Hey. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out. We're about to start the panel show. Give me about 30 minutes to make myself something to eat. Take my dog for a walk. I'll be back. Get your drinks. Get your drinkies. Get your snackies. We'll take a little 30-minute break. And then we'll come back to start the after party. 5,000 subscriber celebration. Let's freaking go. Hey. We're going to hang out tonight. All night. Late night stream. Kicking it. Opening up the Discord. We can play some chess if you guys want to challenge me in chess. If you guys want to play some poker, we can play Hold'em on Discord. Whatever you guys want to do, we'll hang out in the Discord. Crack a beer. Have a good night. Have a good time. Talk about whatever. Kick it. No crazy topics. I don't have anything planned. But this has been the Dreaded Conservative Show. Monday night, kicking the week off right. We'll be back Monday, every Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. I think Eastern, whatever the heck time it is. Be here or be square. You know, praise God. And yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. If you want to support the channel, hit up the Cashapp, Dreaded Conservative, Super Chats, memberships. You get that membership content, the stuff that gets a little too crazy to leave on YouTube for the normal people. We'll put it on the members only. Do all that stuff, guys. And I will see you in about 30 minutes. Watch for the thumbnail. I'll post the thumbnail as soon as I end this stream. Watch for the thumbnail, guys. You can go wait. We'll be in there shortly. I'll see you guys later. We out. Peace.